What's up, everybody? Welcome to Street Eats and Dope Beats, episode 8. It's your boy JMKM, here with my co-host.
Chef Adam, what's up, y'all?
Yeah. And we're here with our guest for the day, Honor Flow Productions.
Yeah.
Yo,
What up, y'all? What up, Adam?
Yo.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about their new project, some other hip-hop topics, and just see what's going on in the world of Honor Flow. Let's get it.
Yo,
Let's go.
cool.
Let's go with it.
Green faces, I'm still chasing. Shoes fit, now I'm soul searching. A damn fiend for the grand scheme. Reason why I've been so determined. Bringing rap and hip hop together through words I spit be my sole purpose. Came here to open your mind with this light of mine till it's closed curtains. No detergent, I'm doing dirt. Burning cheese, living a fantasy.
Cool, what's up, everybody? We're glad to be back here with the homies, Honor Flow Productions.
Yo.
What
Yeah.
up?
How about y'all introduce yourselves? To my right.
DJ is Lord. How's it going, everybody?
Yo, what's up? This is MC Eliminates.
What up? This DJ Chuck the Old Soul.
That's what it is.
Honor
So
Flow.
how y'all doing today?
It's beautiful, man.
No, it's a nice Sunday, you know?
Awesome. Thank you guys
Phenomenal,
for
man.
being out, coming out.
Thanks
being
for having
guests.
us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys having
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
For real. Thank you for the
Nice.
platform, without
No
question.
problem. I see you guys out here, pushing the new album,
Yeah,
Yes.
man.
Yep.
making your rounds. So,
Black Odyssey, man.
Black Odyssey.
Been out now. It's almost been 6 months.
September,
Oh.
right?
Yep, September's
Damn,
almost
time flies.
almost 6 months now.
6 months.
It don't
Wow.
it don't feel like it, man. But a lot has been going on in our world with between videos and shows, and getting a lot of opportunities in line, especially for the summertime with the sun coming out.
Hey,
You know, there's a lot of good things coming up that we're gonna reveal coming later on this summer, man.
stay tuned.
Finally, some sun.
I know, man.
I'm tired of all this rain, man.
I love it, but you know what? After a minute, I'm like, okay.
Right.
You
I
want
like
that
the
sunny
rain.
Thank you,
CA.
Lord,
Yeah.
but please.
I,
But you want
I'm-
that sunny CA. Love.
right.
Yeah.
I'm a summer guy, man. Summer's my favorite time of the year, man. So I'm always happy, especially like the Sundays like this remind me of growing up as a kid with certain
Right.
records playing.
Right?
The Earth, Wind and Fire, the Bobby Caldwells,
Yeah.
the Gap Band. So when I see sunshine like this on a Sunday and good
Yeah.
music, it brings a good spot in my heart, man.
Yeah,
So
see.
it's
See,
always
we're,
good to
we're here, Chuck. I
Hey.
feel you.
No,
I
I
feel you. I feel
Like
you on
this
that.
kind of sun. Like I wish you could just stay this temperature.
right.
Not too
Not
hot,
just-
not
too
too
hot, not
cold.
too
The
cold.
whole year, man.
Just right, but
I
with that
don't-
right breeze, dude.
Yeah, I don't mess with those 110
Nope.
3-digit summers,
Nah,
man.
not
It's
at
like,
all.
Barstow or
Like
something.
you're in,
Crazy.
like you've seen Total Recall. Remember they're in Mars and
Oh
they
my-
like
He just
Yeah.
melts his face.
Get your awesome balls.
you just walk outside.
His
You got the,
eyes just pop out.
that's
just
exactly
got the look on your face. And you walk outside.
yeah.
Already.
No,
Like, why are you
it's
so
like the
angry?
humidity slaps you in the face. Dude.
Say,
None of that. Take a shower and you're all sweating when you get out.
Ooh, man, yeah, that's
yeah, that
that's
kind of
rough.
humidity. We don't want that.
Nah,
Like-
so that weather, and it's like, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, that sunset, that golden hour,
Yeah.
yeah,
most beautiful thing in the world, man.
yeah. It's
It is.
California.
The purple haze, that purple
Yep.
haze.
Nice.
That's like can't buy that, man. That's simple. Sometimes it's simple things in life. Let's keep it
Yeah.
real. It
For
really
real.
is.
Seriously. Cool.
Yeah, like I really noticed you guys on this album really like leveling up with the content, the videos. Like the videos have been dope.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what else you guys got cooking? You guys have more content or?
So video wise, shout out to the homie Norik. That's cool. That's in the place to be.
That's cool.
Hey.
That's cool.
The next video we're shooting is Elevation with Norik.
Okay.
Dope.
That's gonna be shot next month.
Easter weekend, right?
Easter
It's
weekend.
one of my favorite songs on the album.
Mine's too.
We got to tell the story of how the song even got on the album in the first place, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, shit.
So let's back up here. I just want to say something real quick before we get to that. The IE in general, and honestly, since we met, like you guys have been so supportive of what we have been about and giving us a whole new leg and opportunity in our career, and at a time where we were coming out as a group.
Yeah.
You guys played a major role in that, and we can't thank you enough for
Yeah.
that.
Dope.
And a lot of that influence and sound got on this album. Phantom Threat being on, Weird Science. I met Phantom Threat through the very first Ripple Effect. You had the dope spot,
Dope spot.
and I met Norik through you doing No Filter for the first time.
Yeah.
So through that,
Over at the Monk Space in
right,
K-Town.
I wouldn't have met LT. I would have never done Promote the Dopeness. A lot of stuff that wouldn't have happened. So I say that to say this because, the whole reason how Elevation came out is you played a role in connecting all of us.
Dope.
So Norik was like, yo, I want some beats for some stuff I'm working on. I made the beat for Elevation specifically for Norik.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I
for
remember.
Norik's
Dope.
album.
I remember. Yeah.
And I told Eliminate over here.
Oh man.
I was like, hey, check out this joint I made
Spotlight.
for Norik. And he was like, why did you give him that?
I was like, hey
It's
man.
like,
like,
no, you got to get that back. I
I
was
was
like,
like, man.
some in your
Really,
giver type
man?
shit.
Like, giving this away?
Yeah, I remember it's like, yo, I got a
Sorry,
beat from
Nori.
Chuck. And then, yo, man, that beat from Chuck, we got to give. No, I'm just kidding.
so it was like I was like, all right, let me try to smooth out the situation. Maybe we can do it like we do the song could be on our album and his album. We can, like do you do back? Remember back in the day, like the song be on two different like
Mhm.
albums. Maybe we'll do that. So I went to Norik about that. He was cool about it. We cut the record, and Norik's
cool.
record at
That's
the
cool.
That's
he was
cool.
working on the morning after around that time. I want to say, and it was already done. So he's like, "Yo, y'all keep this for your record," and we've had it ever since, man. And people have really the response we got for that record is Norik sounds like 3 Stacks. He sounds
Yeah.
like Andre 3000, man. And I feel like Norik is one of those guys in our circle that's just ready to go right now. He has the sound,
Yeah.
he has the look,
Yep.
he has the style, and it's always fun performing with him.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah,
so
it is.
happy to have him on the record. And when it was time to do another video, like eventually you say we got to do a video for this.
Oh, yeah.
Norik's whole vision and grand scheme of things for his own career really mirrors ours. So it's really like minds really like meeting. So for a song that's about elevating your state of mind, elevating the place you are in life and looking, like taking it to another level, like there's no other better person that can help, put that message out there, but Norik in our circle. So it was fun. It was fun doing that record, and we're glad to do the video, especially the Lemonade line in this. Oh yeah, the Lemonade line.
You gotta tell me about the lemonade.
The lemonade.
Tell him, tell
There's a
him.
line in the his verse kind of talks about him being on the plane.
It's a popular
And he-
drink and still it.
Shouts out to Gangstar.
Still don't know that line.
And he writes in his verse that like he was on a plane in order to eliminate for the stewardess. That came up because he was at Drake's Den, our home base, recording the record. We're talking before he wrote his verse, and I gave him a cup of lemonade, and he spilled a cup of lemonade in the middle of my studio.
Oh, no.
Floor was sticky and everything.
Ants everywhere.
Tried to call Raid and everything, but we cleaned it up. And that lemonade and the conversation we had and him spilling that lemonade made it into the verse.
Okay.
And I also want to make it a point that, and Jay, you can relate to this as a producer. This is why it's so important, even in today of swapping files. It's important to be in the same studio with artists when you're working.
Yeah.
Because you never know what kind of ideas are going to pop out when you're in the moment. That idea wouldn't have happened like that if I would have been like, yo, Nori, here's the beat, record it on your own time, and then
Email
send
it to
back.
me.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's so important still to get those in-person collaborations because
That's
you never
good.
know what can come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How big of a role does your space play in the album? I always see people at the Drake's Den and hashtag Drake's Den. Like,
It was the home base for the record, just the energy. The weird thing about the Den is that so the Den is in the den of my grandparents' house. I had the house built in 1959. It wasn't made for studio recording, but somehow it's soundproof. I don't know
Yeah,
how.
the acoustics are kind of,
wow.
perfect out, down there.
It's so wild that it's like that, and it wasn't built for recording at all. And the name, people ask, it's not about Wheelchair Jimmy. I have to kind of clear that up. I have to clear that up.
Hey guys, what you do?
Jimmy
Sorry,
from
Albert.
Degrassi.
Nah, it's not. It's not a Drake reference.
It's not a Drake reference.
So
Sorry, not at
so Drake is a reference because my grandfather's last name is Drake. My grandfather Jesse Nelson Drake Jr.
Sorry, Aubrey.
from Kentucky
Sorry,
For-
Aubrey.
was a pharmacist from Kentucky. Moved out here. My grandmother from the south side of Chicago was a nurse and an opera singer, and they had the house. Like I said, had the house built in 1959, and he lived in that house all the way up to the time he passed in 2015. And when I started working more in the den of that house, and over the years, I did stuff in that house. We're listening to the radio, taping stuff off the radio, and all that type of stuff. But when I started really making it the home base where we're going to make this record, I want to give it a nickname. And we've always called that area of the house the Den.
Yeah.
So that's why I added the Drake's part of Drake's Den as a nod to my grandfather. He was the original entrepreneur of the family.
Nice.
So, it was people have come in and say it's like a homey space. It feels warm. You meet my family.
Yeah.
It was all supportive of it. And it just gives you a certain energy to it. So the energy of this album comes through from the office space, without question. That part of it, I think, played a major role. And plus, also, we weren't stressing about, okay, we got 30 minutes left.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to close up here. We were able to kind of
We only
relax
got
and
X amount of hours rented.
right. We're able to relax and let ideas come and take a break, eat, play video games, whatever, come back to it. I remember like there's a song on the album called Angel's Flight. Eliminate cut his verse, and I was trying to come up with a hook. He was coming over. I think we were talking about a gig. He came over, but this fool was knocked out in the chair from the tacos.
I actually slept in that den. I probably got like at least like about if we're calculating the numbers, probably like a month's worth of sleep.
But literally,
Rip Van Winkle status.
Yeah,
I wrote
exactly.
I wrote the hook and cut the first part of the hook while he was sleeping. He was in the chair, and I said, "Yo, the hook's done." I said, "What? The hook is done." Oh shit, the hook's done.
So it's a comfortable space.
It is a really comfortable space, man.
It's really comfortable.
It's meant to be that way. So
I'll be taking naps between practices, man.
That's true, and it's not. It's our practice space. Black Odyssey was made there. A lot of the demonstration tapes are made there. The Summer Lust tapes are made there.
Stay tuned.
The Jacker
Summer Lust 3.
Summer Lust 3 is coming.
Bedroom Stories.
The Jacker and the Flow, the house EP we put out with Jeff the Jacker.
Yeah.
How that worked was Jeff would do stuff at his studio and he would send it over, and we did everything else in the den and then send it back to Jeff. We would just go back and forth on mixes. So a lot of work was done within that 2-year space in there. So for this next record, we're in kind of like right now we're in a space where we're just trying to regroup and get inspiration again.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind there'll be some stuff down there. We may do some traveling on this next one.
Ooh.
We want to switch it up maybe just a little bit to see where the other
Traveling.
inspiration comes up. So
Okay.
this is just me just throwing it out. There's nothing for sure yet. But to get back to your
But
point,
you never know.
you never know. We like to keep people on
Pay
their toes,
attention.
man. We like to
Put us in the conversation.
we like to have fun and keep people on their toes. Like people are too predictable on social media nowadays, man. Let's have some fun with it. Let's have some fun with it,
With the moving and grooving.
Have to, man. Have to.
Okay. Dope. What I don't know. So in regards to, I don't mean to talk too much about the album. Not
Talk
let's-
about the album.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about the
yeah.
album as much as you
We'll
want
get into some street
on
eats.
all major platforms.
Yes. Plug it.
Food, that's important.
Yeah, because you
too.
guys have like this vibe, and there's something different that I heard on this album with energy, and you guys have always made music that's, to me, it's LA, it's kickback, it's positive, it's feel good,
Right.
But there was a couple moments on this album where things took a darker turn.
Oh,
Right.
definitely.
And there was
did.
some
Absolutely.
you
like
guys
the
have
darkness.
it sounds like you guys are kind of like responding to some like criticisms
Yeah,
and calling out names and even even
Put
like
us in the conversation.
calling out like venues.
Put us in the conversation.
So-
I heard a line about like bananas.
Oh,
So
you can explain
yeah.
that, man.
I'm laughing.
yeah,
'cause,
so
like,
so give us some context.
this is the second time I think in a week we've been asked about that line. So-
right? Wasn't it? Shout out to Gloria.
So let me clear that up about the bananas line. First of all, shout out to Verbs because Verbs has always held it. Matter of
the
fact,
homie,
Kyle
man.
Guy, man, what's
the
up?
first Pomona show we ever had was at GCS, and Verbs was on the bill with us.
Right before they closed
Like,
too.
True. And I remember Verbs drove with me to that show. It was in my Honda Civic.
Yeah.
It was my
in the
mom's-
Civic back when you had the Civic.
Yeah, the
The
Civic.
silver.
It was myself, my mom's, my sister, and Verbs in the car, man, driving. And he's always showed us love. And he's just staple in LA hip hop without question. Like there's just no denying that.
He's like the Prince of hip hop.
We're
Prince
good-
of LA hip hop.
Prince of LA.
There's no denying that.
He's like the Noah James of LA
He really is.
He really is.
He really.
as far as like putting rappers on.
he really is. And
That's I don't know if anyone's ever worded it that way. It would make sense though, right?
no, it makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. We're good, and what he's done with Bananas is good. The line about that was, if you've ever been there, and I live in View Park, and Lamert is down the hill from where I live, so I'm right around the corner from Bananas, literally. If you've ever been there, you just know with certain places, it could be cliquish.
You all right, man?
Lord's like,
Lord let out the most epic side.
it can be
And it's not
cliquish.
like that good sight under your breath kind
And
of.
I was wondering what that was. I'm like,
We all looked at-
Well, we
Sorry, go
can
ahead.
talk about it too if you want.
It-
We can
it-
talk about
We
it.
here, bro.
It
We
can
here.
be click. It can be cliquish.
Okay.
And the people that mess with, some people are open-minded because a lot of people have come through Bananas, as you know, like the Anderson Paaks, the Kendrick Lamars, like a lot of people have come through there. If they know you, they're gonna fuck with you. If they don't know you, some may mess with you, some may give you the cold shoulder.
And
And,
that's 85% of the time. if
right,
that's the
and
case.
85% of the time is like kind of like the Apollo. You gotta earn it. And then some people will fuck with it at the end. Some people will just go outside and have a cigarette.
Right.
And this is also a situation not just with us, but I've backed a friend of mine at Bananas, and
Oh, man,
she
yeah.
killed it. But she was having a little bit of trouble. She had to start the song over, and they were booing her. I was just like, "Yo, get the fuck out this bitch."
People were booing.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they're
were booing her. This is a separate show. This wasn't us. I was just spinning for a friend of mine that night.
Ooh.
But so the line about it is kind of us pushing back of like, look, this is who we are. This is the sound we do. And either you're gonna mess with it or not. And my attitude when you have a show when you have an audience that's difficult is you don't command their attention, you grab them by the throat and you make them pay attention. It's like okay, you want us to work that much harder? Fine. But there's one thing you can't say when we get off the stage, you're not gonna say we're not doing our thing up here. Yeah. So that line was kind of like, the line about not changing our logo. We've gotten that criticism before. Or you sound like this, or you guys dress like this, and
or you're too old school or something.
I wanted to make clear, like, because Bananas is like the big. So I name dropped them to make sure, like, to have that clout to make sure, like, you can tell anybody that listens to this, they'd be Bananas or whatever the case, or who can seen as an LA gatekeeper to hip hop. Like, no matter what, you let people know this is where we stand.
Mind your manners.
This is where we stand. This is who we are, and we don't give a damn who feels about it. So it's more so a shot at the audience that really kind of like picks and points at us. Yeah. It's not a shot at Verbs, and it's not a shot at Bananas, because
not them directly, because they've actually contributed to the LA hip hop scene.
Yeah, we got nothing but love for Verbs.
And not only that, it's also, you got to understand, if you backtrack a little bit, the rich history behind Lamar Park. But also with Project Blow. Yep. And you can't mention Lamar Park without the synonymousness of Project Blow.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't like this transformation from Project Blow, like when it finally just like went into the ashes, like Thanos snapped. Bananas came in and took care of that LA hip hop underground scene. And shout out to the guys at Project Blow, like AC Alone,
absolutely,
because they're the ones who inspired me too. And I remember, like, because it's funny because I've been around for quite some time, where I remember going to these Project Blow shows, and I remember watching cats who would be DJing, performing, and it
Freestyle
was
Fellowship.
It's just a different generation.
Good Life as well. Good Life Cafe.
Yeah, for real though. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, just to be clear, that's not a diss towards Verbs, and it's not a diss towards Bananas. It's just that mind state in LA, how people can be cliquish and want to really nitpick at you.
And
so
you just chose Bananas as like the example.
Exactly, because a lot of those people that kind of push and shove at us show up there.
Yeah, if you I get it. It's good. It's good for you to explain.
And let me talk about that sigh underneath my breath. Basically, it's the idea of nepotism in this city. Okay. It's the idea, not necessarily here in Glendora, but in LA altogether.
Yeah.
If basically you want to shine, you got to know somebody or be part of a clique. That's the only way you're going to do it. See, that was the difference why we loved y'all in IE. Because it didn't matter who it was. Y'all could be like just a whole group of friends, but whoever came in and came out, you gave them so much love. Even if you knew they were having a tough time on that stage, you gave them 110% support, and it didn't matter who it was. Even if they came off really dope or they came out like, yo, you can work on this. But it was a lot of great encouragement. And I feel like as artists, like everybody, there's that friendly competition that we got in the game all the time. That happens between us DJs, MCs, B-boys. That's in the spirit of hip hop.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like there's also that lack of encouragement. That was the thing that I was saying. It's like, yo, we're doing our thing too. And we're shining. And, when it comes down to it, if push come to shove, it's like what we need is that camaraderie, because all we got is us. That's it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If you're talking about the LA market with music or just entertainment, period, it's just there's so many people doing it that you don't appreciate it, when it's happening. So it's just like, oh yeah, I'm an artist, I'm an actor, blah blah blah. Oh, you're an artist, you're an actor. What restaurant do you work at? No one's taking it serious because there's just so many people doing it, and that support system. It's more of a crabs in a bucket syndrome where it's like, oh, okay, well, you're not gonna get more shine than me, and then you just kind of like bumping elbows.
Yeah.
So
there is a lot of, I think the things that we contributed to the scene is that there are the same type of cliques in the IE, but when I came around and I started throwing shows, I'm like right in the middle.
Right.
So I was unknowingly putting these lineups together with artists that might have not really necessarily fucked with each other.
Right.
But then they become fans of each other. That's why when they're at these shows and they're attentive to you guys, or the Pomona guys are attentive to the guys from Riverside, and you got the guys from Fontana. I had no idea.
Kentucky.
I'd just be like, yo, is your music dope? Did I see you
Right.
perform? Are you dope? Cool, let's do a show. And then I think that's where a lot of it came from, because some of these cliques do exist.
Oh, there's
they
absolutely.
absolutely.
There's
definitely.
different sides of the nine.
And everybody, you can't help that. That's just like the tribalness in us. You know what I mean? There is that idea of like, there's apprehension no matter what.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like when you see other people like actually appreciate the things you do, and they appreciate like the music and the sound that you're creating for them because you took the courage to share your art.
Right.
Yeah.
And your vision and whatever you're trying to do, whether it be it's a producer, whether it's be you're a rapper or even a DJ. And we've done stuff together too with Yo DJ Hangouts and Ripple Effect. And no matter what, we're in this together to support one another.
Yeah.
But there is a time where it's like, okay, if there's a little piece of constructive criticism that needs to be said, perfect. But it's a matter of how you deliver that criticism as well too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that said, like, when we first met, like performed on a bill with you guys, like at Monk Space.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I was just like, man, everyone here is like fucking cool. I was like, man, I'm really digging this vibe, and it was just like, like for me, it was just like, man, like that was like one of the first times, and we had been like performing for like almost like 10 years at that point.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I mean, how we ran a train through like Sunset.
Yeah,
literally.
like we had done everything on Sunset, but like that was like one of the first times I was like, man, these are peers. Like this
Right.
This is a really dope space, and like we're on the bill with like a really like cool artist, and like we definitely networked and like created the connections that we got now, and like that was, but yeah, it was just like a really good experience, and just like being around a bunch of like-minded, talented individuals. Like that was like one of the first times I ever felt it at that Monk Space.
Right. And you had called me. He's like, hey, we want you to spin. I said, I'll do it. I said, under one condition. I said, I want my crew to perform. He's like, cool.
I was like, yeah.
And there's I don't think anybody could have predicted it would have manifested into all of this.
I mean, the vibes
now.
was undeniable.
It was,
Yeah.
and
You can't deny vibes.
That's one of my favorite shows.
And the crazy part is, and then we were doing like the whole like, who do we know? Who do you know? I was like, wait, starting with Norik, that's cool.
Yeah.
He knew a guy that he went to high school with.
Right.
We went to LMU with, and we were both in the same like, we were like in Majas together. Joseph Villarosa, shout out to Joe Villa, and they all went to high school. And then we started connecting the dots.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait, my cousin, this person, that person,
Right.
and we're just like, yo, if that ain't no sign
Yeah.
that these are good people you want to vibe with.
right.
Yeah. And I was like, Katie Kawauchi?
Yeah, there you go. See, it's like LMU in the building.
It got to the point where like I had friends like peers in LA and journalists like, what's going on in the IE?
Yeah.
Like I really started. People started asking me, why you? They saw me going out to promote dopeness once a month. Like, what's going on in the IE? I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, like, there's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
And furthermore, they showed us love and given us a platform. You go where the love is at. You guys came in our lives at a point where we were resetting the button as a group and coming out. It was just like,
we're like
it was
months.
a godsend. It was
like
right on time.
It was months right after we broke up as a band, because Honor Flow Productions has seen so many different faces of his band.
And we've had a few lineup changes.
Yeah, we used to be an 8-man band. Chuck can talk about it. I mean,
yeah, like when Boombox Sketches came out, when you threw the first the first No Filter, that was a month after Boombox came out. Like it was right.
And that's
on
around the
time.
time I was getting back in the country after
Right on time.
teaching English in Japan for a bit.
Right.
So I mean, we just kind of I
the
came back
timing
and we
of it.
started hitting the ground running.
It got to the point where certain folks thought we were from the IE. I'm not even.
that's-
I'm not
yeah,
even
I think
kidding you.
they thought you were from Pomona.
Yeah, I'm like,
at
nah,
one
I'm from
point.
out there. Like, you're making a drive out here? I was just like,
Yeah, no, I
'cause-
appreciate every show that we've done and you coming out there. Like, it's been, that's dope. I appreciate you for that, man.
So, and to close the bananas part of the conversation, to make clear there's no beef.
No mas.
So, Verbs has a Bananas alumni playlist on Spotify.
Okay.
And the song that we're talking about is on that playlist.
Hey.
So, it's on the playlist. There's no
There you go.
beef. He got it immediately.
No, and that's
he
just
got it immediately.
the average listener, and I'm listening, I'm in the car, and I just, then I hear it. That's how people are going to,
Right.
Well, because they
interpret
also
these
want to
things.
know what's that about.
yeah. It's like, oh, what's
Right.
that about? Well, the whole song is just about you guys kind of fighting back to.
Yeah,
some
no,
of the-
definitely
Yeah.
answering
Comments.
that criticism. Like, it's just like, hey, we're still doing it.
This is our flow. This is our style. This is
Right.
our logo.
Yeah.
This is who we are. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And we're not changing for anybody. We like who we are. Just like this, anything in life. Like, there are certain artists that are staples in music, like the Beatles or Prince. And there's people who don't like the Beatles or Prince. So if there's people out there who don't like their music, what makes you think you're acceptable? You know what I mean? Not everything's for everybody. Although I've never met anybody that doesn't like Stevie Wonder or Earth, Wind, and Fire. And if I did, I wouldn't trust them.
Or Outkast.
Right?
Or
There you go.
Outkast.
It's
I've
true.
never met anyone who does not
Or
like
Tribe.
Outkast.
They spell it with the
Actually,
C.
no. I actually met a dude who absolutely despised Tribe Called Quest.
Ooh, okay.
Buddhist man.
AKA
That's
the
crazy.
mechanic. AKA the mechanic.
We're not gonna go there.
We're not gonna go. We're not gonna go.
Buddhist
We'll just
man.
call him the AKA the mechanic because
We'll leave that there.
that's it. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to
Yeah, I
know.
don't know anybody that's like Outcast. Nah.
Right.
No, but
Everyone's like-
this dude was like, nah, like Tribe Called Quest fucking sucks. It's all about Action Bronson. I'm like, dude, he
Oh.
sounds
Get
like
these hands for
Ghostface.
something
Yo,
like
that's
What's
that.
wrong with you, dog?
That's grounds for hands.
Rest in
That's a
peace,
big
Fife.
jump. That's a
Yeah.
big jump. Right
And
there.
until to this day, even the fact that Fife died, I'm still not fucking with Tribe Called Quest.
That's
I can say that,
That's
right?
ridiculous.
That's grounds for hands.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's grounds for
Hands,
getting
mechanic.
jumped.
knees,
Bedroom
elbows.
stories.
That's grounds for getting hands. But yeah, to answer your question, that's a banana story.
Cool. I was just curious.
But you know what? We don't say anything on record that we can't stand behind and explain it. Because it's like, I don't think artists get that. You're going to get called on certain things you say. So you better be able to stand behind it and explain yourself. If you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
stand behind your words, then don't say it.
No, even on this platform,
Everything.
we like sometimes we're like, should we edit this? No, we never like
No.
whatever we say is how we feel.
Right.
These are our opinions, you know.
You know, you go into breakfast clubs, they're gonna slam you for that.
Yeah.
Like they're a
Charlemagne the God.
they're a soundbite type of platform. They want the juicy shit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
know what you're
Definitely.
saying. So and stand
That's
behind
dope.
it.
If you're making an argument, have your proof and evidence.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh, question.
Yep. Nice. So how did you guys meet? I mean, Jay, because
Who, us?
yeah.
Oh, so Jay, shouts out to Illmind. So Illmind, this is early because
Moana.
now he has the Pass the Ox,
Yeah.
tour. He has producers come in and kick with him in certain cities. Way before he started doing that, we started doing the Sound Pass. He had the Black Kit Platinum Club,
Okay.
in which he would have these barbecues at Great Nate Scott Studios.
Yeah.
And we would get together and network and play beats and eat and whatever the case may be. Like I remember Atlas was there,
Yeah.
Sky Zoo was there, like
Yeah.
basically that whole crew. We met through that.
Yeah.
We met through that and just kept in touch. Like Nick
Nick Piccoli.
who's killing it right now. Like straight, we met Nick through that and we just kept in touch. And then he hit me up about DJing the Ripple Effect and that. I mean, not the Ripple, excuse me, the first No Filter.
No filter
Yeah.
And
showcase.
that's how I was like, okay, I'll love to spin. I would also love my do a sub with my guys. And that's how this whole thing kind of started rolling. One day, I'm telling you, one of these days, when we run it back into Illmind, which is gonna happen, I'm like, yo, you realize, and we're in a situation in our careers where you can say, yo, you helped plant the seeds for this. So
Yeah, there's a
thank you
whole
for that.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't,
cool.
and I think he's gonna, knowing him, he's gonna be like, that was the point of all this. I think.
Yeah, and it was. I think if you even look back at the show we keep referencing, the No Filters, like that was my first show that I ever put together.
Right.
And it was with full intention of
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So everything you guys are talking about, how it was like how you guys got that vibe, and who would have thought? Well, I thought that's
Of course.
Not to sound cocky, but like I was like, okay, I got this thing. I want to start it. It's called Productive Culture. How am I going to get it off the ground?
Right.
So I'm like, let me reach out to all the clients that I have, all the people that I've met, and I had just started doing like with the original Pass the Ox thing with Illmind. That was like one of my first like industry networking events that I went to. Because I spent all this time before just engineering, being behind the scenes.
Right.
So when we were like, okay, let's start this thing, Productive Culture. Me and like Ramon were like, yo,
Shout
let's
out to
find,
Ramon.
shout out to Ramon. We're like, let's find places to go to network. So then we went. Then because if you guys don't know, Illmind, he's like a Filipino producer from New York.
He is.
That's like super big. He produced for Drake. Just got a Grammy off of like the Carter's album.
Right.
And then like he produced stuff on Moana.
Yeah.
I became a fan of Illmind through his stuff with Little Brother.
But then
how
he
I became
started
a fan.
with like Little Brother.
That's how I became a fan of him.
Yeah, and then he started
I mean,
with
he
like
started from the underground all the way to the top.
yeah,
I mean,
he started Little Brother, Mobb Deep, 50 Cent.
Yep.
Then he got like an Eminem placement. Then he got the Jake, and then he got the J. Cole. Anyway, so that's how we met. But then I was like, okay, let's throw an event. And we intentionally, knowing that I was starting to build a network in Pomona, I was like, let's do it in LA because people from the IE will go to LA, but not all the time people from LA will go to the IE.
Pomona.
Even though Pomona's technically not the IE, but depends on who you ask.
Right.
They call it the PIE.
PIE.
Yeah, Pomona IE.
Pie.
Get a whole slice of
Pie.
The pie.
slice
The
of the
pie.
pie.
I've never heard it.
Yeah, shout out to
That's the first time I heard
like Tony Asar and All Black. He's
of
one
course,
that.
Tony would
Yeah.
come up with that.
So anyway, so I was like, let me get together. So a lot of the people in that lineup were like the guys from the Dope Spot that I had just started working with.
Right.
You guys, and then just people I was just starting to connect with on Instagram.
Right.
I think we had like Leia Love on there. We
Yep.
had-
Yeah, Leia Love is dope.
and then
Yep.
and then I was like, okay. And then I got the artist to come in, and then it just became like the catalyst of like starting it. It was my first event that I ever put together, but
Man.
because of like
That's
the reason, the way that we started Productive Culture was based off of like this methodology of organizing and putting stuff together I was learning in my day job, and it was like this thing that trickled down. So I was like, I think I can execute an event. So we did it down to the T, and then we did it, and then so we've done 2 so far.
It's only been 2.
It's only
No
been
Filter
two.
songs.
Yeah. So the past year, we kind of like, put it on the shelf because I want to make it bigger. That one was
Right.
like we had like 100 people, and then the second one was the one we did.
Did you do Cultivate, right? You were doing Cultivate.
Yeah,
before.
and then in your hood,
Yeah.
at that art
Oh, yeah.
gallery, it was at
The
the
one
Garage
on-
Gallery.
Okay,
The
yeah.
second year 2, so you guys performed there as well.
that's
Right.
And that one was like throughout the whole night, we had like 350 come through.
Right.
So I'm just like, the
Mm.
next one I'm gonna do, I want it to be bigger.
Right.
So we're working on bringing it back. But yeah, that's the
Hey,
story. on how-
Nice.
Dude,
I like to hear the history all the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
You
the,
know, I
the
like
origin
to see,
story.
Yeah. I
It's
like
just
Yeah.
it's just beautiful to see where it's been. That was almost now 4 years ago.
That's
To
dope.
kind of see where everybody's at right now. Everybody's
That's dope.
in an incredible space right now,
Yeah.
and just
Cool.
on the cusp of the next step of their careers. That's the
Yeah.
beautiful part of it, and everybody involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To watch everybody progress.
Yeah.
That's the I think that's the best part in linking up with a bunch of different people, and then it just keeps on going and going, and then to see everybody progress,
Yeah.
and then think back like, dang, when we met, we were doing this, and now look where we're at.
Yeah.
It's strength in numbers, man.
Yeah, definitely.
There's something I looked at. I looked at the Motown way of doing things, and the Soulquarians moved that same way.
Okay.
You may be
Yeah.
a fan of Stevie Wonder, but you're also a fan of Diana Ross,
Yes.
or the Temptations, or Smokey Robinson, or the Jackson 5. You may be a fan of the Roots, but you're also a fan of
Erykah
Slum
Badu.
Village and Badu and
Yeah.
Kweli and Common. Everybody runs in some type of crew.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a group, but they all support each other, have similar ideas.
Yeah.
And that's how you're able to get faster to success.
I mean, that's how it was with the Native Tongues movement.
Same
with Tribe
with the Native
Called
Tongues.
Quest, De La Soul, Brand Nubian, and then you gave birth to like groups like Beat Nuts, and then you got like
Right.
Mos Def, Black Star. I mean, it was just that support system, and that's what it really is about. And I feel like, with that sense of our like collectiveness, that's how it was. That's how it is.
Nice.
And that's how it's going to continue to be.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you're going to put shows together and be successful, because we all in this together. It's like all for
Right.
one for all. You know what I mean? Like,
It was our goal when making the Black Odyssey to invite our friends along. Whether it be, the Norigs and the Phantom Threats and the Shadows of Society, and really kind of show like a full, or Joni Marie. Joni is on Living for the Weekend, who sings the hook on there. Like, and then, we wanted to bring in, our friends to kind of showcase. It's not, we're the centers of attention. It's our album, but there is a whole world that we're connected with that we want you to check them out as well, because there's so much talent out there. So this album wasn't just about us. We wanted to make sure that everybody's involved, has a moment to shine, and people can check their music out as well and check out what they do. It was with that intention. It was kind of like what Kanye would do, with kind of like everybody would just kind of come in, kind of through their own kind of own seasoning in the gumbo, kind of, and everybody came. Mostly everybody came to the Den. There's only like 2 things that was shipped in email wise. Everybody came to the Den, signed in, and did their part in the studio.
Oh,
And I think that
nice.
really, really played a
That's
role
cool.
in how things were, man.
Nice.
and I think the best part about that too is both of us, me and Chuck, being DJs. It gives us new music to play with, break
Yeah.
more records,
Uh-huh.
introduce
Yep.
people to local artists, and
Yeah.
be like, okay, cool, you like this? Well, you might want to listen to this too.
Yep.
And that's
Uh-huh.
our job as a DJ. That is like our right to let the people know, everybody that, you know, we spin for, every gig that we go to, you're like, yo, you want to hear this new Norik? That's cool. It's like produced by JMK. That's him. Yo, party okay? Listen. And then
straight up.
One dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Like, I did a gig for the Housewives of the OC.
Okay.
And
How did that go?
Oh, that was fantastic. Ratchet as hell.
I bet.
Ratchet as hell. Elitist ratchetness.
Elitist
The worst.
ratchet.
The worst.
The
kind.
worst
type of
kind,
ratchet.
man.
Oh
And,
my
you know,
God.
and I partied and I DJ'd a lot of different kind of ratchet
Privileged
parties.
ratchet.
But
Privileged
yo,
ratchet.
privileged ratchet. Pretty much. It's
High credit score.
High credit score ratchet.
High credit.
It's
high
a
credit score.
Hey, it's a tax bracket party.
Oh,
There you go.
Hey.
So end of the day, it was like, okay, I'm gonna end my set with, I put that new Too Short Twerk Train. And I was like, wait a minute. I looked at the BPM. And you know, this is right when Norik That School just emailed me that DJ package. And I was like, and I have the dirty version of Party Okay. So I just blended both. And then these crazy blonde brunette, like Botox infused women, like, what?
Frozen
that?
faces.
They came through looking like ducks, like quack quack.
Your stuff got Shazammed, but they couldn't Shazam it.
Oh.
And I was like, this is before it was on Spotify and everything. I just broke it. I was like, I broke the record. And
Real
like,
DJs break records.
I broke the record. Even kind of like juggled it for a little bit, just like let the break go for a little bit. Made sure they heard your name.
I appreciate
All
it.
right?
Okay.
Back and forth, back and forth,
Yeah.
back and forth. And so when I was just juggling it back and forth, and then we were just like,
That's
play, what was the last track after Too Short? Play that shit again. Some middle-aged crazy ass. She was drunk out of her mind, and she had a little bit of like snowflake dust in her nose. So she was like, I want to go party, okay? And I was like, I still haven't told Norik that, but I'm telling you. And then
That's
like, you know,
dope.
That's tight.
You don't know now, but you know what? I
DJs
think
breaking
in
records.
our connection, there's one thing we want to do more studio work. I know we joked about, not even joked, but talked about at one point doing a record together, like an instrumental album together at one point. But there's one thing beyond the studio work I want to do. We all need to tour together.
it was that
feel
fire,
like I'm
dude.
at home.
You got the sound alarm, the reggae alarm going on.
There we go.
Bing, 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 bing.
There's more studio work to come. I already know that for sure. But I want to tour together. I think all of us together on this, because we've,
straight up.
in a way, we've tested that out with the shows you've thrown.
Yeah.
And, you know, and also when we did like our record release party at the Brew Yard, invited, you know, Norik was on the bill, and Johnny was on the bill, and Emron was on the bill.
Shout out to Emron.
So for us, I feel
Johnny
like
Bars?
we have. I want to ask you about Bars' new album too, because I know guys have been really, really
Okay.
working on that too. Like, we'll talk off the air about that. We'll talk off the air about that. But it's like Johnny. But I know John. Seems like Johnny's been really, really like excited about the stuff that's been coming forward. I think that was kind of the testing ground that we can put together great shows and really take this to another place. And I think people outside of our scene would love it. And I would really in the future want to explore that opportunity for us all to get on the road. I think we got something to offer and a full package show to do. At least that's the way I've always seen it as well. We've talked about it among each other as well.
Yeah. And no, I believe in like going on tour. And I guess because I come from the other side, just from being just like a
Studio rat.
Yeah, like studio rat. Hearing that desire from you guys and from Norik at the beginning, I was like, I don't know. Do we have the fan base yet? Do we have this? Do we have that? But
now I think the world really wants, a legit like experience that they can say, man, like I was there for.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you look at like a lot of the classics, I don't like to say old school, I just say, classics. I mean, yeah, like, the world is, I feel like, they're just saying like, yeah, we want to go to those shows that, you have to say like, oh, where were you at when so-and-so like, came to this city, like, where were you at? Like,
Right.
Yeah. People want to be that experience. Yeah. And I think there's a big market to do like up and down the West Coast, and to do Nevada, and to do
Seattle has a scene too.
Seattle
man.
has-
Oregon.
There has been artists I've seen that's done it with less. Dude,
Yeah.
the content is there, the videos are there, the merch is there. Your merch game is crazy. Like
Oh,
a lot of the merch push we've gotten has been the context that Emron did our t-shirts,
Yeah.
Vision X did our banner, and
Uh-huh.
it's those things are all in order. It's just a matter of just putting the pieces together.
It's also timing too, dude.
It's timing as
Timing
well.
also.
agree.
But I think somewhere in the future, I don't know, it'll be this year or soon coming. But I think that's something I definitely want to explore sometime in the future.
Let's get it.
I think it's almost time to do that.
It's almost time. You heard it first. You heard it here.
Nice.
We put it out publicly.
Let's go.
This has been
Bang,
conversation
bang.
for years. Now we're putting
Let's
it
do
out
it.
publicly. So y'all gotta
Bang,
hold us to
bang.
it now.
Let's do it.
Y'all gotta hold us to it now.
So,
Right.
what are some of the other things you wanted to touch base on?
Man, shoot. We have. I know there's something big that's brewing in our camp, but
And
we
you
can't.
actually could say, but
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
oh,
no,
do
no,
you
no,
have-
no,
You
no,
could,
no, no,
but
no,
you
not
can't.
yet.
But you
Not
really
yet.
can't.
I
Maybe-
want.
maybe
it's-
off
You got
camera.
exclusive?
Yeah,
Right?
it's not like I
You-
don't want to.
You're gonna have to give us something now.
Iron out details. That's what we're gonna say.
Okay.
All I'm gonna say is this summer we got some traveling to do.
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Believe me, we want to give you the exclusive.
Stay tuned.
We want to give you the exclusive, but I'm one that is really keen on not counting your eggs for the hatch.
Yeah.
And things are in the final stages of what we're talking about.
once it's finalized and the paperwork is complete,
Everybody-
then we can make those kind of announcements.
Stay tuned.
Nice.
But yeah, there's a lot of things going on, for the summer for us in terms of being on the road. We got the Elevation video coming out. I plan to open up the den a little bit more this summer. Try to get in with his, it's something we bring up Illmind again. The idea of chasing placements. I'm over that shit.
Yeah.
It's about working with the people that are around you that are dope and building from there. And that's something I heard him say over and over again. Even on his podcast, I've heard Ryan Leslie screaming over the phone, "Stop chasing placements." And he's right. Like it's 100. I mean, if those opportunities come up, great. But it's 101 shot. You're usually gonna get more, shine if you work with a certain artist.
Yeah.
And then, and then boom, it works. Like, oh, he worked with blah blah blah. They're a team. What's the name of the cat that produced the Blueface record?
Oh, I have no idea.
So they did
Which
it-
one?
It's not Tatiana.
The Tatiana, the only one that matters. The only one that matters.
You mean respect my crip and don't matter to you?
So he was on Genius where he told him they were explaining how he made the beat, and he was just kind of like low key saying, "Yeah, I thought he was mad off beat, but I had to get used to it. AKA, yeah, I wasn't feeling it, but when it started making money,
Hey.
Anyway, yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
Anybody who read it, if you look at the comments, it was just like,
Yeah.
no one's mad at that because everybody thought he sounded like Silta Shocker a
Yeah.
little bit.
I must hear it a little different. Like when I heard him, I wasn't really hearing that he was offbeat. I just heard that he just had that. He had that little
Right.
little swag.
Different.
But
I wasn't hearing like this is off. I mean, it's off if you think about all of the. Hey, everybody's got that
scatter rap.
that same flow.
The-
It's just
Right.
kinda
Scatter
one,
rap.
two,
Same
one,
cadence.
two. So I guess it's off.
And I bring that
It's
up.
off of that. That's for sure.
Right, I bring that up because he was just like,
Thank
yeah.
you, Soldier Boy.
I bring that up to say like guys have really understood like instead of chasing these placements, you link up with an artist that it works. You
Yeah.
keep building with them. You keep building with them, and it's kind of gone back to in that early days of hip hop where one record had the same producer. You look at what YG and Mustard have done over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of a hip hop record having multiple producers didn't come and play till Illmatic, but Nas had the dream team of like Premier and P Rock and Q-Tip and Large Professor.
And you have to admit, for a while too,
LES.
like a lot of records were sounding the same as well with the whole boom bap, which is nothing wrong with that. But that comes in waves in hip hop. That's what
Right.
it is.
And I think to go back, I think it was something we talked about off air about, this episode about, the quality of music. There's always been great music and there's always been poor quality music in every era. The only reason why it's blown up in this era is because there's more of it.
More people got cell phones.
More people
Cell
have
phones.
Social media.
access to technology. They can make records. There's a new producer every day. There's a new rapper every day.
crazy.
So now you
There's
got
a new DJ every day too.
And you know what the funny thing about new DJs is like, yo, there's so many new DJs out here, but a lot of y'all don't have your own DJs when you rap.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That part, like, it feels like we got to put together
Because
a matching game. There should be like, there's like dating websites, a matching of people. There needs
Like
to be
Tinder
like,
for
You know what?
rappers
I'll
and
tell you what.
DJs.
No, I'll
Yes.
tell you
DJ
why.
connection.
Yeah.
Swipe left.
This is
Yes.
why.
Yes.
Like the
Swipe
love
left.
connection.
The
DJ
reason
connection.
why is because these
Plenty of
promoters
fish for DJs.
only give them. So these promoters don't have the foresight to ask them, "Do you want to bring a DJ?" And they give them 10-minute sets, and they don't got the right equipment, and they got a janky ass sound system.
right.
Because all y'all
Yo,
promoters.
sound guy, play that one.
Yeah.
Nah,
Track
the
three.
other
Next
No,
one.
no,
Next
no,
one. Next
next
one.
one.
Number
Nah.
2.
Play it through my phone.
That's the one thing I
Play
always
it through my phone.
tell younger younger rappers. I'm like, yo, I don't care if you don't have a band, get a DJ, and if you don't have a DJ, you better figure out a way to trigger your own self off a beat machine. Have control of your set is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I gotta say, as someone that's only an MC, I'm probably one of the luckiest MCs in the world. I'm in a group with 2 DJs. It doesn't get better than that.
A producer, engineer.
So like I'm just like, oh man, shit.
I'm
in good hands.
you know what? And that's something publicly I want to.
And a good legal team too.
That's true.
A pretty good legal team.
Publicly, there's something I want to make clear about the DJ part about us as well. Because apparently this is getting really fucked up out there, and I want to make this perfectly clear.
Okay. Speak on it.
Speak on it.
Speak on it. Okay. Everybody.
Lately, when we're booking shows with some folks, people are surprised that we have a DJ in our group.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Now,
listen up.
There's
Listen
2 people in this group with the name.
Yes, you got to listen up.
With the
real
name DJ in it. There's a DJ as Lori, and there's a DJ Chuck. Obviously, somebody in this group is going to, even if you've never heard of us.
It's just my initials, dude.
Somebody is going to DJ in
It's
this
Damian
group.
Johnson.
So when I tell, they're like, send the tracks to the house DJ. I'm like, actually, we have a DJ. It's cool. And some cats get up in arms. Why didn't you tell us we have a DJ? Nigga, there's 2 people in the group.
People,
DJ.
They're just a clear indicator that people do not read their shit.
It's like,
crazy.
There's been so many bills where we're the only group with our own DJ. But it's like that's how much the respect level of having a DJ has gone down to where guys are having
they don't even
shit fits about someone else bringing their own DJ.
The elements.
What was that one time we were like at a Roxy show and there was this it was a showcase and then they even blasted the DJ like a no DJ and there's like 2 rappers rapping on the CD, track 1, track 2, not that one. And then it was like, no, we don't need a DJ for that. Nah, fuck that. I'm like, what?
This is why your show looks sloppy.
Then no, because they looked like they were sloppy too, and it was and it doesn't make you look any good when you're dissing the DJ. When the DJ is the backbone to this.
You're gonna be doing spoken word. You keep talking shit like that.
Spoken word, nah, man. But you be flipping the sign outside because apartments are available. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But just my case in point.
In my sense, and Jay, you've seen this, and Lord and I have been in those situations where we've spun for other artists. And for me in particular, I understand both sides of the coin because I'm an MC too. So I know how to make your set look good because I've been on both sides of the coins.
Right.
And a lot of times when artists, perform with me, they start to understand why it's important. I care about your set because out of karma, I hope your set goes well. Right. Some DJs don't give a fuck about you. No, they're just gonna play your shit, be on their cell phone, and be like, "Yo." Whatever,
sometimes they step out and take a piss, and you're like, "Who's playing the next track?"
Yeah,
So it's you don't trust somebody. I may care, Lord may care, but the average DJ won't give a fuck about your shit.
Slide. You can't make that kind of break, dog.
So what I say is like, get someone that you trust to run your and make sure your set that much tighter looks you more professional
and practice.
A lot of cats be like, "Yo, y'all stuff is tight. Like we can tell you really practice." Like, yeah.
What else? What are you doing?
It's really a surprise to some people that we meet. Like, and it's just like, man, like you don't practice,
you don't rehearse, yeah.
Well, and another thing too, what also surprises me is when people show up to their like sets or their gigs like piss ass drunk or high off their mind. Like I get it, it's to like calm the nerves.
Loosen up.
I'm guilty of that too myself, but there's a point in time where I'm kind of like, we got to be laser focused. We can party afterwards because we want to make set because I'm the one playing their tracks. Yeah. So I'm like butterflies in my stomach and I'm making sure that like I just get the jitters, you know what I mean? And I want to make sure these guys perform well to a crowd that they've never performed to or to a crowd that has seen them. So there's a level of expectation and there's a bar that we set as, and it's not bragging. This is what we do for a living. This is life. This is hip hop. Mm-hmm. And this is what we do. I make sure that these 2 guys shine bright than the diamonds that they are. I'm just in the back, doing what I do as a DJ.
Right.
Nice. So let me. Oh, go ahead. No, you got it. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I don't. No, I just like preach. I was just like, I'm still radiating off of his.
This is a 3-head monster, man. Like it's like the Megazord. One piece.
No, we're the Hydra. Keep on cutting it. We grow back 5 times stronger.
I mean? The Megazord don't work without the Mastodon or the
Babyface kids.
No, Voltron. Voltron assemble.
I'm more of a '90s kid. I gotta say, Megazord. So we are a team, man. It's one part doesn't work without the other, man.
Trio.
And it's very, very clear of that.
I like that.
We're like a bodies to a system to a whole.
It's very much a 3 Musketeers. And it's a 3 Musketeers attitude. One all for one for all. Even when we're doing stuff on our own. If I've got a gig, they're there supporting. If Lord has a gig, we're there supporting. If someone's, one of us has a mixtape coming out, we're blasting out. Lemonade puts out a freestyle, or someone does like a drum cover, guitar cover.
Coming soon.
Everybody is supporting
And also
everybody.
the fact that he's also on Twitch and he's also playing video games,
Playing,
Eliminate. And
Yeah.
so we repost all that stuff to make sure too, you know.
Mercy.
One wins, we all win. And you know, in an age of a lot of solo rappers, like we're also one more thing. We're a group. There's not a lot of groups. There's only, I mean, just now Migos has come out and kind of brought back the aspect of a group in, in contemporary hip hop. You know, it's been a while since we've seen a group in contemporary hip hop actually have success.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they're the first in a long time. So it was a lot of solo artists from the early 2000s to now.
And you have to admit they're good at what they do.
You know,
And hating on Migos, they good.
regardless
at
if
what they
you
do.
know, like I said, music's subjective.
Yep.
You may like it,
Yeah.
you may not like it, but they've been
Yeah,
successful.
they're out there.
They've been
Yeah.
They're
successful.
making money.
That's
Period.
that's
That's
so
what they
you
set
just
out to do.
yeah
Yeah,
you
And
guys,
get Cardi B, you know.
Cardi B, no. Like it's music is subjective, objective, or whatever the word is. Like you may like it. That's hip hop.
It is.
It is.
But so
I actually wanted to talk about that because you actually made that one of your talking points. when
yeah,
we were
so
talking.
part of the reason why I like what you said that because I think people are forgetting the essence of hip hop.
Yeah.
That hey, some people might like it, some people might not. There's always been, you know, music that people might not have liked or people have liked, but now I feel like it's the cool thing for people that come from the previous era of now, whether you're still doing it or not. But like our peers, now we have peers that are younger than us that are making new music, and a lot of people that we came up with, maybe they're just the people online ranted about, oh, that ain't hip hop. So there's like this attitude of judgment with the new wave
It's true.
but it's, you know, that's what hip hop is. So.
Every era, you know, has had that pushback of that's not good, that's not right, and you know, you always the next era is always fighting for that respect. But I think the biggest difference in this has to change at a certain point. There was a respect level between people that came before and those now. You may not care for it, but if you rode in your mama and daddy's car, you knew what their groups were. You knew what they were about. There was a respect level.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like the older you get, like, I don't want to hear that. I mean, like when you're young, like, I don't want to hear that. And then I find myself listening to the Isley Brothers on Sundays.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Which is the truth. Man, I'm listening to Michael McDonald all the time,
Right.
dude. And I'm like, this is my dad's music.
clip
Like, yeah,
Fleetwood Mac.
real.
there has to be a respect level of this is where it started. I wouldn't be here without this. You know, so regardless if you're into it or not, you have to know your history and to go forward and progress, because you got to be next and progress this. We want this for your kids and your kids to be here and do it. You got to respect what came before you. It's just, you can't be ignorant with history. I think that's the main
It's
problem.
like
That's
the
the
saying.
issue.
It's the saying. If like you don't know history, it's like it's like a tree that doesn't know its roots.
Yeah, so that's one thing I was going to ask you guys. So how do you guys feel about that label of the golden era of hip hop being, you know, pretty much in the 90s? Because
Right.
I know you guys must be 90s kids. I'm an 80s kid, you know?
Yeah,
88.
You know, so it's like I was born at the end of the 70s.
right.
And, you
Well, I
know,
was born in the 80s. So, and,
Late.
you know, I grew up in the 90s as a kid. So,
Yeah.
of course, my bread and butter has always been like, you know, 90s hip hop, whether
Yeah.
it be gangster rap, whether it be East Coast rap,
okay.
whether it
Yeah.
be dance hall, reggae, whatever,
It-
anything, even grunge music. I was in the punk in the 90s. My whole thing, and
Bad
my take on
Brains.
it, my take on it also is the fact that it's a saying. It's like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but it's also in music, beauty is in the ears of the beholder, and it's how music speaks to you, how it resonates with you.
It is.
The idea of golden era, when is really the golden
Right.
era of hip hop?
Yeah.
Like, let's stop having this conversation, dude.
Yeah.
First off, when it was the 80s, everyone was vibing with the 80s. Boom, 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 boom. There was a time where like Tribe and all those cats like Wu-Tang was getting shit because they're like, oh, that's that new stuff. I don't listen to new stuff.
Yeah.
I'm listening to 80s stuff.
Right.
They say that's their golden
Exactly.
era.
Every
90s, same thing happened. The same cats who got older started hating on the 2000 stuff. Now, guess what? When we're at a wedding, what are we playing? Little John.
Right.
Get crunk with it. Get loose with
Right.
it. Okay, let's talk about it. Here's the thing. Music, for me, is obviously the most subjective subject ever. Because, dude, we live in a time period where, if you only listen to hip hop, you only listen to hip hop. Back in the day, if you listen to punk, metal, thrash, you were like grunge. Why are you listening to that white boy shit? You don't listen to hip. You don't listen to West Coast shit. You don't listen to Tupac. Funny for me, I had my homies were listening to like Dre, Snoop. I was listening to Wu-Tang Clan. I was listening to the East, like Mobb Deep. I was listening to Lost Boys. Lost Boys, shout out to Mr. Cheeks. That's like one of my favorite dudes. And when I was listening to that, it was like, what the fuck? What? No, this is West Coast. And I'm like, it's hip hop. It's like, you vibe with it, you love it. That's why for me, I had a better advantage because I was introducing newer tracks to cats who now swear they're a Wu-Tang fan. They swear they're a Tribe Called Quest fan. Back then, they were like, nah, man, I only listen to NWA and Tupac, Bang Bang. And I was like, okay, calm down, easy, relax. Like, that's the era I grew up in.
Nah, straight up.
The playlist era helped break those barriers down. Because now, like, when we were driving over here, my tastes were all over the place. I was playing this rock record, this house record, this hip-hop record.
Oh, yeah.
I think the playlist era helped break down those elements. And now it's also leaked into the creation of the music, where you have so many multiple genres in in one artist. And I it's once again, it goes back to what's resonant. Certain 90s stuff is resonant to me. A lot of 2000 stuff, which is my junior high and high school years, is resonant. But I think, what the biggest litmus test is? Time.
It is.
Time is the biggest litmus test, because you go, okay, give it 5 or 10 years. What records are still, like, we're talking about spinning at a wedding.
Yeah, and they're getting crunk with it, let loose with it.
Matters.
Yeah.
And the only way to know, and that's why I think the word classic is the most overused word in our culture. Stop labeling some shit classic and it came out yesterday. Give it some time.
Let it breathe.
I hear you. Because I was like, for a long time, I was, with music now, whatever. I'm like, do I hate it? Or is it just, like you said, the respect thing?
Right.
So after thinking about it for a long time, to me, it's a respect thing, because like you said, every generation is going to have like, nah, that's not, that's not the music.
Pushback.
From soul all the way up. I mean, every single genre of music. I mean, there's always going to be, that's not real music.
Right.
When soul music came out, all the jazz heads were like, that's not real music.
Yeah. When Miles was doing this thing, like Miles was too experimental.
Exactly.
And he got shit on by the hardcore bebop heads.
Yeah.
It happens in
Prince.
every genre.
Prince got booed when he opened for the Rolling Stones. I mean, come on. Like, imagine Prince getting tossed with like potatoes, being pelted with watermelons. I mean, I don't know who gets a watermelon on stage, but
beer bottles, and they weren't ready for the lingerie and the lynch coat, man, on stage. They just weren't ready for. Some things are ahead of its time, and it needs time.
Yeah, big time.
And also, there's something else that has to be mentioned about that. Hip hop is still a young genre.
Yeah,
rock and roll has been around for hundreds of years.
No, yeah, definitely.
And blues and soul. Hip hop now is just like jazz. Hip hop is just now crossing its midlife crisis. Finally, it's getting into its 40s. Yeah. And I think the older the genre gets, because now we're having. It's crazy when you see shows like the old school show and it's with. Warren G and Snoop Dogg.
That's sugar free,
and DJ Quick and
the East Siders,
and Naughty by Nature, and you're just like, what the fuck? This is
they're the old school circuit now. Yeah, they doing all the old school concerts.
The one that tripped me out was like when I'm driving down Morongo, right, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like, you see the Morongo billboard, it's like a Ja Rule and Ashanti.
Right. Like,
I was like, what?
Julio, right?
That's funny.
You're just
what?
Like, wait, this?
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
So I think with time, I think because it's such a young genre, I think that respect level between, because now you have guys in their 40s and 50s who are hip hop heads and are never going to give it up, because that's what they are. Just like there are guys who have lived rock and roll and blues and jazz their entire life.
Yeah.
So the older the genre gets, because hip hop isn't going anywhere.
No, not at all.
It's not going anywhere. We've already established that. It's not going anywhere. I think the respect level between the younger and the OGs is gonna. I think it's gonna get better. I think we're in a rough patch right now, because it's at a spot it's never been at. We've never been at this point of the culture before. It's young.
Right.
So I would hope, as history has shown, in about maybe 10 years, maybe it'll be in a better place. But we had to see where that respect level goes.
But don't you think, Chuck, don't you think like maybe that's a very American thing where they pigeonhole a lot of music?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they want to put genres on it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can even talk about the Backpackers and Underground scene too. Like, I don't listen to anything else but this, that, and the third.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they're the most ethnocentric listeners. They won't listen to reggae. They won't listen to like jazz or hip hop or any of that kind of other stuff, because they're all about that oh, that gritty boom bap, that's all I'm listening to. But sometimes it's one side. And I've always had this conversation with people about, you know, underground versus like, you know, the mainstream. It's always underground hits, always hating on mainstream cats. Mainstream cats don't even look at them back because they're so focused on their grind, getting music out, doing everything that they can.
Yeah.
But end of the day, dude, like, if we can go back to other places like Jamaica, and we talk about dancehall music, and we talk about reggae and rocksteady, all them cats, those dudes, like Sound Clash, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have hip hop.
True.
That's where it originated in the Yardies, where they would battle each other. Sound clashes between two crews. That is what Kool Herc brought from Jamaica to the backyard, into the streets. Yeah. And it's like, yo, you want to settle a beat? Let's go. Exactly. Toast it. B-boy, break, showcase your skills. And that, you know, with the Zulu Nation.
Show off the
elements. That whole idea, like, I mean, shout out to your cuz, Rocka, because when I was at his show, Dilated Peoples in Anaheim, 2008, House of Blues, when he pulled out his Rasta flag and he says, if it wasn't for this genre, rock, steady, reggae, dancehall, we would not have hip hop. That brought me to tears because that was the only time I resonated with an artist, and I was like, yo, because for me, reggae music is life. I'm an island boy to the core. You already know the locks, the lifestyle, Rastafarianism, all that. That changed my life, man. I grew up on Temple Street. I grew up like Satanas territory. All that shit with my family.
Right.
That's what I grew up into. And I had a choice. They're like, you're either going to do this, fix cars, because cousins fixed up cars.
Right.
Or do music. But you ain't going that route. The gang banging, the tagging. You can come to the parties, but that's it.
Right.
But then it was like, I chose the path of DJing, and that's my backstory as a DJ. But the music that I fell with was hip hop. But most importantly, my cousins would throw down some dancehall stuff and some like old Dennis Brown. And I was like, yo, what is this? And I was like, that's the stuff that spoke to me. And it still speaks to me on a level.
Right.
And then right when your cuz threw up that Lion of Judah flag, the red, yellow, and green. And I was like, I paused for a minute and I was like, holy shit. Like, you have those moments where you're in a crowd and an artist just fucking speaks to your soul, your mind, and your body and spirit. And that was it for me, man.
Jordan, you brought up about our album, you know, having a lot, you know, the energy we exude through our music. And I think, and to kind of go off of what Lord is saying and the energy we bring in our music, you know, at a certain point or time, for one reason or another, this music has been our salvation. It is, you know, my thing has always been, if you show love to the music, if you appreciate the music's going to love you back. The music business can break your heart, but music can never. Right. It's about bringing an energy in somebody's life that's the gift in it. Before we came here today, I was running some errands for the crib, and I was playing the song Casa Bay from Mos Def. It's the last song on the Ecstatic. And I had it blaring from my car, and this old Rasta was walking from Simply Wholesome.
Of course he was from Simply Wholesome. When I'm Rasta boy coming out.
And he was walking in the
crosswalk. He had a green juice? He had a green juice?
Yes, he did, actually. And I had the song bumping.
Hey, Crown Moss.
And he's dancing I don't know this, man. He's dancing in the intersection to the song I'm playing in my car. The woman next to me is laughing at this. And I re-rolled out the window and I was like, I don't know these people. Like, yo, that's made my day. But that's the connection music brings. It's about the connection you bring to people. You know, it's when we get on the mic, like we were saying earlier, you know, we're very careful what we say. We stand by what we say because that's an energy you put out there. People have your attention when you're on a mic. Even right now, as we're talking on this podcast, people are listening to us. So you have to be very careful what you say and keep an account. Definitely. You have a power in what you're saying. Oh, yeah. And we are very careful what kind of energy you put out on this record. The record was about personal freedom, finding your personal freedom in various, you know, places. So it was with a conscious decision that we made sure that it's an honest record. And it's a record that makes you feel good, but it's also a record that's honest because there's life is ups and downs. So we want to pursue a whole spectrum of where our life is at. And, you know, if we're not honest on record, we can't talk about it. People always talk about how Tupac was contradictory. No, he wasn't. He was a human. Yeah. Sometimes you want
people aren't just one thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you want the love of a woman. Sometimes you're lusting. Sometimes you want to be at peace. Sometimes you want to bust a nigga in his head. It's just part of life.
We're
human.
Yeah.
We're multifaceted creatures. I mean, that's just the way it is.
We are complex in that sense. And And I think no matter what genre of music you make, you have to connect with people. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. As long as you do that, you've done your job. And if you don't do that, take your ass back to the studio because you failed. But in terms of the respect level, it's all about what's going to resonate 10 years from now. What records are going to resonate, and only time can tell.
And also what transcends time too, because if you listen to those 80s records, 70s records, 90s records, you're listening to those records, you're like, yeah, you knew it was from the time period. But even then, it still speaks to your soul.
I mean,
definitely.
guys, we're all in our 30s and we're talking about, we still love Motown records.
Yeah.
We weren't even around for that.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, man. I mean, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's crazy.
Temptations, as you mentioned.
But no, yeah. You're right. Because every time I listen to Public Enemy, I feel like I'm back in junior high school.
Yeah.
Around that time.
Fight the Power.
92.
It's the
during the riots.
Effect.
Seeing my neighborhood blow up, burn down around me. So that, that resonates still.
And the funny
I'm 40 years old.
And the funny part, we found out, like, when we knew each other, like, in the beginning, like, knowing we grew up in the same area. The same area too.
We grew up, like, street, less than a mile from each other.
Yo, like, music is the
Tommy's was our
dividing
line.
Music is the ultimate time machine. It's the ultimate DeLorean. And that's the one thing I love about me. I can hear a record and go, yo, I remember I was here when I first heard this, and I felt this, and I was going through this, and that's powerful. I can't think of another thing in the world that can make you go physically, can transport you mentally, emotionally back into where you were when this came out.
Yeah,
that's
it's
incredible power.
It's crazy. I think Tupac's first album, the Strictly for My
Tupacalypse now was his first.
Tupacalypse.
Strictly was his second.
Yeah. So maybe when his second album came out, I remember coming out of my junior high school. I went to Virgil Middle School right on Vermont.
Shout out Virgil.
And there used to be a warehouse. Records.
Man.
Yes, dude.
Literally the next block. So that was Vermont, 4th or whatever, and then
by the Kowloon, bro.
Right there, right?
By the Kowloon.
And I remember coming out, and there was like flyers all over the front of our of the campus, right in the front. And I picked one up, and it was Tupac signing his CD, which was just the next block over. And then to come, maybe about a year or two later, that whole block was burnt down during the riots. It's crazy. So it's crazy.
And it's crazy you mentioned the riots. There was so off of, it's now Obama, but it used to be Rodeo and La Brea. There was a Thrifties that burned down that I used to get ice cream from, and we, getting home, we drove through.
Shout out to Thrifties ice cream.
But that
still the best.
For real, double malted crunch, bro.
Pistachio nut.
Double malted crunch, sherbet. So
what kind of cone though?
Strawberry cheesecake.
Just a regular one. But I remember, but just recently that Rite Aid closed down. And I kind of just like when I was driving, I kind of just was like stuck at the stoplight because that was a symbol of the riot because that whole section got burned. There was a warehouse actually across the street. I remember watching the news and the guy getting like beat down in front of that warehouse. But that Rite Aid closed and all these other stores opening up, that was like the signal of the riot. And now kind of with my neighborhood changing, all these neighborhoods changing, it's incredible how certain landmarks and certain music and certain things can take you back. And like, history is important to learn. I don't know why people don't understand that. And in the information age, there's no excuse for ignorance. It's a Google search away.
Exactly.
When you got motherfuckers talking about, hey, yo, this new Drake album is hot. Motherfucker, the shit came out a decade ago. It's his first mixtape. Google it.
Chuck, it's just smartphones making
yo.
People. I mean,
speaking of Chuck D, there's a quote from Chuck D I always take about. I got to interview him for Soul Train.
Oh, wow.
And there's a quote I always remember him saying. He said, Don't be a dumb motherfucker with a smartphone.
That's true.
That's the truth.
Don't be a dumb motherfucker with a smartphone. And it's like the greater technology has gotten, the dumber we've gotten.
Yeah.
Or at least complacent and lazy.
I think complacent's a better word.
And lazy.
Einstein, man. Like our technology's outgrown our humanity, man. Like. Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's a dilemma where like you would see people in desperate need of help, like someone drowning, and instead of jumping in the water and saving the kid, you're just filming it. Or recently, or what was that one in New York where that lady got beat up by this 85-year-old lady got beat up by some young dude. She was getting kicked heavily. Like you would think you're seeing an episode of Monday Night Raw, but that was in the middle of like the subway station. And they're just having their phones on there. No one intervened.
If your homie is in a fight, the last thing I'm doing is filming. I'm jumping in the fight. Actually.
But see, the rules have changed because, like, between us, we live by that code. Right. I don't know if these youngins live by that code either anymore Because sometimes I feel like they hide behind that phone as an act of cowardice too.
We had to be in the.
They're indifferent too as well.
There's a I forgot what Tyler Quality music video, but he says at the end you have to be in the moment. You have to happen in real life. And actually, I'll even say this from a personal standpoint. You know the feature on Instagram where it shows you how long you're on the app every day. I recently saw like my average a day was 5 hours and 42 minutes. I was like, oh no, this has got to change.
That's Instagram.
That was Instagram. I was like, yo, this has got to change. And like as of 2 weeks, I cut it in half. I just found myself like it wasn't. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm just saying. But I'm just saying like I really got to a point where I was like, I need to be more in the moment. There are a lot of videos and pictures that I just keep from that I have in the past. That's my keepsake. I'm not necessarily gonna post it. You know, you have to be in the moment, and I feel like. I was never bad at it, but I think looking at the early age of social media, it wasn't as bad. But once it went mobile, everybody was more entrenched with it, and I wanted to make more of a point to be more in the moment. Of course, we're online. We got records to promote. We got shows to promote. You know, but I wanted to make it a conscious decision to be more in the moment. I think it was mentally healthy to do that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's still a tool. End of the day. I mean, it's how you treat it. It's just like a vehicle. It could be used as a weapon or a place that can take you to A to B.
I'm gonna tell you what OG told me. Social media is promotional, not emotional.
It shouldn't. It's heavy.
Yeah,
that's heavy. I mean, it's simple, but it's heavy.
That's deep, man.
Right. Like if you want to, you shouldn't have things trapped in your heart and your soul. But if you do, go get a journal. Go write it out. Or if you don't want to physically write it out, open up Microsoft Word. Open up Pages. Not everything is for public consumption.
True.
It's the truth.
You know what I was thinking about? Just right now, this conversation is like, imagine if Tupac had a Twitter.
My sister said that about 2 weeks ago.
Or have Biggie had a Twitter too.
No, just specifically Tupac.
Specifically Tupac?
I mean, Biggie, but consider like how he was such a contradiction. He's a human. I feel like a lot of just the way we're so quick to jump on like a Kanye or just the wild. Imagine like, because in the interviews that Tupac's given,
right,
where he's talked about Trump and he's talked about education and he's talked about knocking on your door because it's because I'm hungry, like all these gems that we had,
admitting to beating down the Hughes brothers on UNTV raps,
right? Imagine if Tupac had a Twitter, that's crazy. And a lot of what we're talking about is just with the technology and the accessibility of it all, and it's one of these things where a lot of the criticism that comes down on these young folks that are saying these things, like you said to yourself, when you were younger, you might have been in the car and you think, man, I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear,
Right.
But then later, imagine the fact that in that moment, you're 19 years old and you just say it in an interview.
Right.
Oh, I don't really know that Tupac song. Like, there's this one instance where like Lil Xan, they played him a song.
Right.
I think it was like Ambitions as a Writer. And he's like, I don't know, this song's kind of slow. And then the headline became Lil Xan doesn't fuck with Tupac. And he was specifically talking about a one song. It's like, in my opinion, like I don't really like the song.
In their defense, we had the opportunity to screw up. We weren't in front of the cameras like that.
That's what I'm saying.
But on the flip side, now I blame their management and the people around them. Like, yo, you've got to guide them.
Well, then we had that same dilemma just recently this week with Kodak Black talking about how like he's better than Tupac and Biggie because he said the only reason those N-words are famous is because there's N-words died. That's his exact words. His exact words of Kodak Black.
I sent you that because Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, of course, he went
on a tirade. Oh yeah, I should play it.
Yo, I blame the people that are like, you got people who are older than them. Like, yo, you got to like educate your clients. There's no reason why in this day and age you should be saying stuff like that publicly. Your publishing is getting taken. Your records, like there's too much information. It should, like if your team is not guiding you in that positive way, you should fire them.
And plus, you're dissing a dead artist. They have no defense. They can't fight for themselves.
It's like, well, the conversation is just because are they just shooting the messenger? Like if we were to have a conversation and we talk about legacy and we say it's more complex. I think what it comes down to is like, look at where they're at in their careers.
Right.
Look at where they're at with their impact, their craft, their catalog. Someone like Tupac, for example.
Right.
When he died and where he was at.
And how old did Tupac die? It was like 27, right?
He was 26.
26, 27.
26 or 25.
He was 26 and Biggie was 25.
He was still young, dude.
Or maybe 27,
So much work was left behind his part.
So if you look at where they're at in their careers, like there are people that have the argument that because they passed away at that point, their legacy became inflated.
Right.
Where maybe their catalog or because of the contradictions that like Tupac had, there are people not in the way Kodak said it that have mentioned that like they're as big as they are because they have died. Is that not you guys?
No, I mean
I'm not saying to agree with that, but that's something that is people have mentioned that.
Right.
I think that's all that Kodak is saying.
But it also goes with how powerful the music's going to be. What's going to be the verdict? Tupac's music has passed the litmus test.
Yeah,
it has.
Yeah.
It's passed the litmus
It's still
test.
being played.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and you know, people making comparison to Exorcist Tashion when he passed. You know, once again, it's a litmus test. Is SAD gonna matter 10 years from now? Is his music gonna matter 20 years from now? We can't say that.
We can't say it. And then,
well, put it this way: like, say if DMX's catalog would have stopped in 1999,
right? When he was on, you know, we're talking.
But
he was also a
and it would have
different.
just been like, imagine.
different
Not saying
place.
that he would have died, but imagine in 2001,
He just stopped.
no more
music.
DMX, no more Love Give Me a
Right.
Sign, no more drug runs in Arizona,
Right.
no more legacy deteriorating actions,
No running through the tarmac.
But that catalog, it would have passed the test.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So imagine if Tupac would have gone on, and maybe he would have had he took some L's. Who knows what would have happened? But I think what Kodak was saying, he just saying is like, they're just legends because they died, and I think somehow that becomes like, oh, the youth is like disrespecting.
Unfortunately, it's this clickbait culture,
Yeah.
and people won't listen to the whole story.
Yeah.
and won't like I said, I'm giving them some leadway room on that. But also one more time, like you gotta be like the media doesn't care, man.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta watch your words.
Yeah, they'll try to spin
you
it.
gotta
And I
make
mean,
sure the
So
people
and I think
around,
I think the artists don't care either. The media doesn't care, but I think artists are just like, I don't care.
but
that's-
now it's
but
gonna
that's
kill
all-
your career if you don't pay.
But let's go back to Tupac and Biggie and the idea of like how like journalists took those sound bites from two guys who just so happened to be from New York, the other dude from the West Coast, LA, the Bay, whatever you want to rep it. And then they spun it and they made it an all-out war. And then now look what ended up happening. Two guys died and people from both coasts were
It's just a
repping
problem
it.
with
It's
press,
like,
like you
gang.
said, it's just
right.
there's a press issue.
Method Man
It's
was
how
on
they spin.
Method Man was on Huffington Post and said straight up, I blame Vibe magazine for the death of Biggie and Tupac. Because when he put him on that cover and said
yeah.
East versus West, that's where it
That's
really
where-
that's where it all
that's where it
That's why the
started.
shot with the glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Meth said straight up, it's. I put that L on Vibe magazine.
Yeah,
and
we're
you understand
living-
what he's saying.
Yeah, we're living in a time where like sensational, like the truth and like just whatever, like the truth is one thing, but like like shocking is the thing that people want to hear, and like that's the thing that's going to sell. So like I mean, if you look at your local news, like stuff is going on all the time, but the shit that they're showing you is like, okay,
They focus on that.
this happened here. This group of people did this. So like it's. I mean, it's news, but yeah, like it's they're choosing what they're showing you, and like if they can put a sensational spin on something, that's what you're gonna
That's
get.
what
So
they
like,
can
Kodak. I mean, I didn't really watch it, so like I can't speak on it too much, but it could have very well been like, him just offering some type of criticism on like, okay, well, yeah, sure, like they died before, like we could really have that discussion on them being like legends or not. We'll never know, but it could have like ended there, but whoever was, running that story, hey, he hates Tupac and Biggie. Tune in and find out.
Right.
And then all you see is the
Film at 11.
headline.
Yeah.
All you see is the headline.
Yo, it is our jobs as OGs to pull them aside. Go like, yo, so this is what it is. You're gonna feel this. Wherever way you feel is wherever way you feel. But here's the facts. Here's what this person did. This is what they represented. And like I said, they don't have that room to make those mistakes because they got a camera in front of your face. You can make mistakes. If you make mistakes in public, it's hard to take it back. It's kind of like you date a girl and she screws up and your mother finds out. There's no forgiveness. There's no matter
Absolutely.
if you squash it with them or
Yeah,
what.
nah.
If they
It don't
screwed up
matter.
in your mother's
They're done.
eyes, there's no going
no,
back.
So I think
That's
his mom
it.
just doesn't need to know.
Right. So with that said, like the a lot of the younger generation doesn't have the ability to make mistakes. Not if they're putting themselves on cameras, almost like self snitching.
I even you know what I even think with in Kodak's situation, I even think it's not even that deep. I
No,
just think he
it's
just
not.
fucking said it. This
Maybe
is how,
he's-
this is
maybe
how I
he's just-
feel,
That's what I
you
mean.
know,
It's
and that's
kinda
it.
like a
And then
one-off.
that's it, you know, and then that's
Or maybe just trying to be funny, like some cats try to be funny too.
Yeah.
He could love Tupac. He could have like Tupac could be one of his like favorite artists, but in an interview because it's also the context of the interview was also just about him being in jail and like the charges he caught, and it's kind of like, yeah, he's like, I actually did what I rapped about as opposed to these other dudes, which
that brings up a whole nother question.
Yeah, are we really still trying to preach, street credibility and rhymes?
Pro wrestling.
Like,
like
it's
kind of
when
because
keeping it real goes wrong, as Dave Chappelle once said.
It goes because who really does what they say they do? You know what I mean?
Black.
It's pro
and it's
I mean, 6ix9ine is an example of it.
Yeah, like
and so I mean, and then we could go on and on about all right, the guys that were really doing their thing, that were behind 6ix9ine or behind Kodak. Why are they allowing it to be done? Whether you know what I mean? Like it's who's really doing what they say. Unless you're in the streets.
The real ones don't speak on it,
and they don't speak on it. And they're not gonna.
That's the funny part.
Yeah.
And if they get a chance to make it, they're not gonna be going back.
Yeah, they're not blowing their.
They're not
gonna be going back because they're gonna be over it.
I mean, think of it like like a really rich person.
Yeah.
A really rich person's not trying to look rich.
Exactly.
They're trying to look like Bill Gates had. I'm not talking shit about Bill Gates, but
or Warren
he
Buffett
still got that haircut.
Or even Warren Buffett.
Like Bill Gates, like he can afford
it's
only it's only the people that don't have it or aren't about that life that are trying to
emulate
it. That lifestyle.
It's
so
Dr. Dre wears the same white pair of shoes, same black shirt, same.
In my when I first started cooking,
Steve Jobs is the same way.
In my cooking career,
They're
my first big, I guess, professional cooking gig, I worked at a country club in Santa Monica, right on the beach.
Right.
Flamingo.
And crazy, neckerchief, tall hat, the whole nine.
Right.
The members at that time, this was a long time ago, the members would be paying almost 20 G's a year to become members. Simply for status. Nothing else. Yeah, they had to pay for everything. They had to pay to, they had to pay to use the gym. They had to pay to use the pool. They had to pay to sit on our part of the beach. I mean, they paid for everything. All those men, women that would come, they'd come with polo shirts and shorts.
Yeah.
Faded polo shirts.
Yeah.
Nothing, hair all over the place.
No designer stuff.
Folded ass hat. The brim is just like
one of those old fishing hats.
It's like a hat from Circus Circus,
and that was the truth. They're just going there to kick back, have dinner.
They got it for free.
Yeah,
and
straight up,
they didn't look like money.
Straight up, I remember, I saw this one picture that had Jay-Z from when he was younger to when he was, to him now.
Yeah,
and they had I guess his estimated worth at the time. It showed him with his gold chain, his flat top, his rings, and they said estimated worth, and I don't know how true the picture was, but it said $100,000.
Yeah.
And then, it put him now and it said a couple million, and it just showed, how dressed down he was.
It's crazy.
He's just I just kind of woke up this morning, just
look at Jay-Z, J. Cole, Kendrick, they're not,
Hey man, if you bad Beyonce, man, it's like all of y'all can go kick rocks, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. But that's the truth.
But it's true. Is like I said, Dr. Dre. We've seen pictures of it. Wear same white shoes, same Air Force One, same black shirt. What do I have to prove to?
Exactly.
Nothing, because you're Dr. Dre.
You have to prove shit to anybody.
And shout out to his daughter who got into USC too.
He said online, and I didn't have to go to jail for it either, man. That's a whole nother conversation of that whole with higher education.
That was crazy.
That's a crazy time right now. But yeah, people are rich, don't need to show it. It's like
no, they don't.
I'm happy, and that goes back now with the idea of street life. If you're trying to get out of it, you ain't really trying to blow up your spotlight.
You ain't trying to backpedal. You ain't trying to backpedal. Remember when MC Hammer when he got into Death Row and Tupac told him, you can't be doing that. You're backpedaling from pop to gangster rap. That's not about it. You know what I mean?
Funny.
Yeah.
So, I think at the end of the day, we're going back in terms of youth and OG-ness. I think as now we're getting to that age, we're almost at that stage. We have artists that are younger than us that look to us for guidance. It's very important that, for me, it's a school of don't criticize your peers in public like that. Pull them aside in private, but yo, maybe you can do this better, or maybe I see this. You can't take things back when it's in public. You can't ridicule people like that in
public record.
You can't do that, especially in this age. Pull people aside, have a conversation in private, and then go from there, man. Don't embarrass cats. Don't do because now they're not gonna remember the point you try to make. They remember that you embarrassed them in public,
and now they gotta answer you.
Right now you got the whole neighborhood and everybody. Now the neighborhood is the whole world in your business, and now you got a problem that's blown up to something that's not really supposed to be a beef in the first place.
Exactly.
So it's just offering that guidance, and I think as the culture gets older, I think that will, change. I hope it does.
Hope so.
I think history has shown it's just going through growing pains.
Yeah.
We're getting over the hump of a midlife crisis right now.
Absolutely.
So
with every dark ages, there's always a renaissance. So
there is.
It's a consistent renaissance.
It's an interesting time. And I think, Jordan, I got to ask this to you too. I talked about this particularly with Chris Siders of SOS. What is success as a recording artist right now? It's not necessarily sales. We all talk about the Spotify numbers, and now they're trying to knock back the modern music act, and and songwriters, and more monies in shows and merchandise. The idea of going platinum in the first week may or may not hold as much weight if you depend on the RIA's, streaming. It's like the cheat codes. Like it's to me, that new system is kind of like the curve system in school. Everybody does bad, so if you curve it up, everybody does good.
Yeah,
because still a solid record sale is still more than a stream. They haven't worked out that price yet.
It's always
what is success for an artist nowadays? What is how do you define success? I guess is what we've all tried to figure out here.
I think that's it's like the landscape is definitely changing. Like if you look at the RIAA, it's scaled up. Back then, gold was
500,000.
Yeah. No, gold was $1 million.
No, gold was 500,000 for sales, and then
before. I'm talking like way back.
Oh yeah, before that.
Then gold became 500,000. Then there's now you got to do platinum.
Right.
So now because the physical accessibility of music scaled up. Before it was like not everyone had 8 tracks or records. But when CDs, it just became this is the thing. I think people put a lot of value into the physical possession of this disc, and now that went backwards, but the platforms have increased,
right?
Like if you think about how much you used to get paid for like a radio stream or like a radio play,
right,
and how much you get paid for a stream, and how much easier it is to get on a playlist and get a Spotify stream versus to get your song on radio,
right?
Things are changing. So for artists, I always tell people, it's about your reach right now. To me, it's like your return is going to come from the attention of the fans. Like now it's more so about the fans. And if you're in a small town and you can get that 100, that 1,000, that 10,000 fans, that could be monetized a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to be put up on game to know how to get that. Like, do you know how many different ways you can get paid from one stream? There's multiple.
Right.
Like just because you got DistroKid or TuneCore and you got whatever 1,000, 5,000, plays you have on your project, guess what? You're missing out on money because one play on Spotify equates to more than one type of royalty.
Right.
People don't know that DistroKid is not enough. People don't know that there's like a radio play.
Right.
A Spotify play is now it's a performance royalty.
Right.
Because Spotify, if someone plays your music on the free version,
right,
that's a non-user controlled internet radio.
Right.
It's like Pandora.
Like Pandora, there is 2 royalties for that.
Yeah.
Right.
But if I play your music on the paid version, that's a user controlled radio stream because I pay and I could choose. But guess what? DistroKid ain't paying you that. You gotta have your performance royalties. So there's a whole education. So I guess what is success is like it just depends on your reach, I guess. Right. I guess depends on what your expectation of success is.
Everybody's different. I think we're in an age where you don't have to be Jay, you don't have to be the biggest rapper out.
Yeah.
And you still can have I call it middle class. You be a middle class rapper. You can tour around the world. You can have your solid base. I mean, like, look at the Rhymesayers label. Yeah. They're the kings of that shit. Uh-huh. You look at Atmosphere and Brother Ali and all those guys. They may not be the biggest names in rap, but those who know. And when they come to your town, those who know are packing out the shows. And it's possible to be able to still be make a living as a musician and still be able to walk in the grocery store without being mobbed.
Yeah,
it's possible, and I think this age has made that possible if you know how to carve your audience right.
Yeah,
so I think we're in an interesting age where that idea is gonna evolve, and if you understand your market and you reach to that market, you're gonna be in a way to be able to do things your own way and still make great money.
Yeah, it's possible. You just gotta work, gotta put in the.
Yep.
Gotta work.
I mean, the same artists that back in the day that would have hustled and got their street team and got other homies. And those are the same artists. Like in this day and age, it takes that level. Like I'm sure there were artists back in the day that would just cut demos, think they were gonna make dope music, but not have the hustle or the drive to push it, get the studio time, get those meetings, whatever, wait outside of the radio station for Kanye.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like there's still a lot of hustle that is required to contact the aggregators, to find out who's making the playlist, to get your stuff registered, to get publishing admin,
right?
To research, to even know. I guarantee you there are people listening that do music, that put out their music through DistroKid and TuneCore, that did not know that they're not getting all of their money.
Right.
That did not know that one press play of your song on Spotify creates multiple types of royalties.
Right.
If you didn't know, then Google it and look it up. These are the reasons why the people that are gonna start making money off of it and are gonna start. That's what's gonna separate you from them.
I will say the younger generation, especially us, and we were the first generation. We were the last generation to tape things off the radio, and the first with Napster. Yep. And I think this generation has gotten smarter in terms of the business sense of it. Very, very rare do you see, it still happens unfortunately, but very rare now, you see people that know about their pub. They're making their own deals with labels. If the numbers are not right, well, fuck it. I can just go on this tour and put this record out my way and
do it myself.
And do it my damn self. Like, why should I? You weren't with me shooting in the gym. Well, I'm gonna give you a piece. Like, So I think this age has got a lot more business savvy. If I don't need you, you need me. It still needs some tightening up to do. There's still a lot of pitfalls, but that's something about this young era that's younger than us. I'm really proud of. They're really on the idea of fuck these major conglomerates. Yeah. We're gonna do things our way. And if you're gonna play ball with us, you're gonna do it on all terms.
They understand the concept of being the suit and the artist. Yep.
So. Some can do that, some can't. But you have to in this day and age, especially if you want to get, you're not paid what you're worth. You're paid what you negotiate.
Yeah, bro, definitely.
Yeah, facts.
Dope.
What? Okay, just to switch gears real quick before we wrap up.
Okay.
We like to ask some food-related questions.
Yes.
Based on y'all being from LA.
Hey.
So
let me ask you guys, after you guys pull a dope show, you guys are feeling good. Where do you guys like to go?
Whatever's open.
Whatever's open. At that point, it's like, I don't even care. Just let me get some food in my stomach.
Don't say Denny's. No, just kidding.
No. Unfortunately, IHOP may be the only thing open. But if everything is open, man, for me, I'm a soul food cat. And of course, being a Cali cat, good Mexican food, man, has to be that. Lord is the biggest thing foodie out of the three of us. Today, just after this, he's like, after this interview, we're gonna go here.
We're gonna go Donut Man.
Go to Donut Man.
Yeah. He's like, we're going here.
We should make a partnership with them.
Right? We
should. We just talk about
I'm gonna start getting them and putting them right there.
Yeah.
They should just have like an
think
ad.
about that.
Yeah, man. For me,
just have it laid out. This is Donut Man.
For real. For me, and I'm one to be careful not to eat too much before a show because you're trying to rap, you got a full stomach, you're gonna be burping in the mic. And,
no, even DJing, man.
Yeah.
Can't do that. So I think I don't know, for some reason, like every time we do a wedding, after a wedding, because we DJ too, so we do mobile DJing as well too. And we both DJ together when we do these weddings. And for some odd reason, whenever we're on the OC, because we don't have it out in LA, we're always like, yo, like it's open late, ain't nothing wrong with it. Let's go, Raising Cane's. Let's just go. Because there we would go because when we were like in like San Juan Capistrano, we're like, what's open? Like we're in the middle of like Temecula. What's open?
Temecula.
Yeah, we were at a vineyard, and then we're just like, I'm hungry as hell. Like, because that's the thing, when you're DJing, the adrenaline rush is so at its optimum peak because you want to make sure you're performing well and you don't want to eat too much.
You got to MC, and they'll give you a plate of food, but sometimes that food goes down quick and it burns just as quick.
Right. And sometimes you're just picking at it. You're not even enjoying the food. So usually we're guilty. We just get some Raising Cane's. That's like one of our go-to spots, like after a DJing gig, doing weddings or a private event.
Nice.
I'm kind of boring with what I eat. You know, I do the meal prep. I do just chicken breast and
I could tell.
broccoli.
I could tell.
Chicken breast and broccoli all the time. But if I'm not meal prepping, I used to live in Japan a few years ago. I love shabu shabu.
Hello.
Shinsengumi in Gardena.
Gardena.
It's fantastic.
Gardena, like you can come up on like some really good Japanese food down there.
And even some good chanko nabe too. Like what sumo wrestlers eat.
So that ne.
My pop's
So
recipes used to
good.
work right there off of Artesia, Normandy.
Hey.
So like, I know exactly where you at.
Yeah, what's it
Shinsengumi
called?
is
Like,
fire.
off of Artesia and like Danker.
Yeah.
I go to that Shinsengumi pretty often. There's a place teriyaki style, Hawaiian style teriyaki called Rascals.
Oh, that's the spot. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah.
spot. I'm there pretty often. For me, just from my time in Japan, a lot of the Japanese cuisine, really, resonates
Yes.
with me. The okonomiyaki,
Nice.
ramen, some sushi.
Yeah, man.
Or if we go other Asian places
Korean
too.
barbecue, I love that.
Yeah.
Korean barbecue, but then I've also introduced these guys in the last 5 years to Din Tai Fung.
Yeah,
So
the
Shalom Bao.
dumplings, yo. Woo!
See,
Whoa.
like see?
Fire.
Fire.
Yeah,
DTF.
the pork soup dumplings. I've introduced that to them as well.
See, I
That
never.
sounds really
Yeah.
good right now.
I did a 60th birthday party recently where the 60th birthday, the food was gumbo and tacos.
Oh,
I
yes.
was like,
like that.
you have made my
Yo.
weekend gumbo and
Nice.
see, I have family from New Orleans, so
Okay.
Creole in my family, man. So
Who that did?
you give me the jambalaya and the gumbo and the shrimp. I love seafood's my favorite type of food.
Nice.
It's funny,
Should
actually.
hit up
There's
San Pedro one of these days.
yeah, man, there's a
Fisherman's
spot
Market.
that opened up around the corner from my crib. It's Mexican food and soul food.
Oh, nice.
Dang.
I haven't tried it yet.
That's
I haven't
dope.
tried it yet. But I was like, yo, that's a crazy combination. My mother, I remember I drove. I'm in the car with my mom. She was just like, Mexican and soul food. That's a crazy combination. I said, hey, mom, that could be a future grandchild. You
Yeah.
never know,
Chuck,
man.
Chuck, I was at Chula Vista, right? I was in San Diego last week, and there's a spot. It has the word soul, and it's called Sol Listas. And this spot is like literally 2 exits before the border, the international border.
Really?
And when you get there, I was like, oh shit, this is like a new Mexican spot. Because you go to San Diego, you're gonna get Mexican food. No questions about it. No ifs and buts about
They're the
it.
burrito capital of the
Carne
world,
asada
man.
fries, carne asada nachos, whatever. I walk into this establishment and I'm like, wait, it's not just Mexican food, it's Filipino food.
Ooh.
And it's infused because they had like the Manny Pacquiao fries.
Oh, that's
they
funny.
had they had tocino fries, they had longaniza fries. And I was like, and then of course, we all know that there's
Oh, is it
also
Zarlitos?
it's a solitas.
Sol?
Solitas. And then, of course, we can't also neglect the fact that Mexican food was also heavily influenced by Middle Eastern Lebanese culture. So the kebab, they also had like kebab fries, like fresh, like basically the way that they make it in the Middle East,
The Al Pastor.
al pastor,
Yeah.
that
So they
style,
shave it.
and they shave it down. And then I was just like looking at everything, and I was like, but look in the back, they're all Mexican. Then they're like, oh, the owner's Filipino, he comes in and out,
Nice.
So trip
That's
out,
funny.
dude. It's
Hey, that
dope.
kebab we had last night was bomb too, man.
Oh, Kebab Boy, shout out to
Kebab we- I had the
Glendale.
leftovers last night too when I came in watching Netflix.
Oh, what?
Man.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Chuck never, one, packs his food home. Second, he always eats more than he should. That's how I know this guy so much.
Okay.
And he's always going to go for the strawberry lemonade. Got strawberry lemonade on deck. That's what he going to get.
That's his go-to.
But that's how we're like also as a unit, we get each other's like diet. We respect Paul when he's when he's doing his diet. They respect me
Eliminate.
too when I have to do eliminate. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was just caught in the moment. You know me, I get excited. But here's the thing: it's like he does his meal prep, and then I've been doing keto for a minute too, and I was doing the intermittent fasting. But here's the thing: it's like when we do food, we're also on the same page. We may be like, no, I don't know. Let's see what's the general consensus. But end of the day, it comes down to like, oh, let's do it. Let's go eat.
What about home cooked meals?
Oh, yes.
What about home cooked meals?
Man, so my pops can burn.
Okay.
My pops can really, really burn, and I've been trying to, get game from him, man. And what's funny
Get
is
on it,
like,
man. You gotta get to cooking,
I
bro.
know I have to. The funniest thing is for Fat Tuesday this past year. My mom had never made gumbo before.
Okay.
And she killed it.
Nice.
So I told my pops, I was like, hey, mom's killed it with the gumbo. She's like, get out of here. Like, you know my gumbo. Like, there was like, they've been divorced almost 20 years. And there's some of that competition there.
Okay.
So, you know, like.
She don't make gumbo.
Yo, so it was, so, you know, anything about, you know, gumbo. And then, you know, like my dad, I don't know what it is, man. It's like anything. It can be Italian food, spaghetti. It could be just, it's some reason.
Just has
like,
that touch.
You know, I've always asked him, like, why you never thought about working in a restaurant? And he's like, it's my peace of mind. Yeah. Like, you know, certain things you don't want. You need it as just
when
like.
With your therapy, when you love to cook, and I tell people just leave it at that because, you know, I got into cooking as my almost, not, I want to say my last resort because I love cooking and I've always loved cooking, but I was put into a program, you know, to kind of steer me the right way in high school, and I found out I liked cooking, and the rest was history. I didn't have grades to go to college, you know, so I just pulled it together at the end and ended up going to LA Trade Tech, and I mean, here I am almost 20 years later, still cooking. I have my pop-up. I have a regular 9-to-5 with the local district, and you know, I love it. So it's kind of, you know, I have a love, not so much a love-hate relationship, but when people genuinely love cooking, I'm like, just keep that.
Yeah.
Keep that, because I've seen the bad, you know, the bad part of the industry, you know, hard, the grind, all of that. I mean, I love it.
Even with music, you know, you try to separate the business and the love, what it happens all the time. My grandmother had these bomb baby back ribs. I grew up eating as well. And I think cooking, and the reason why I think I really want to get more to cooking is because it's like being a producer. It's a science.
Yeah.
It's mixing.
Too much reverb here. Too much seasoning here. Maybe I can, you know, there's a science to it, you know? And there's a lot of producers out there that can really burn, man. I know DJ Quick is one, and I remember reading articles, he's like, he can burn. He's one of the greatest producers and mixers out there. So for me, I really wanted to get into the science of it, because it is a balance, and you're trying to please your audience. Yeah. Plus, it's good for dates, man.
Well, we gotta throw down.
Chuck, you gotta get it.
We gotta throw down, Chuck. We gotta go.
Come on, man.
Do it.
Get on that Blue Apron.
Come on, man. Like,
this episode is sponsored by.
No, I'm serious.
This is a blue. What's the name of the cooking?
Blue Apron.
No, the cooking. The cooking.
Cordon Bleu. Le Cordon Bleu. Le Cordon Bleu.
There it is.
What about you, Lemonade?
You know, like, again, like, you know, most of my meals, you know, just chicken and broccoli. It is the same thing 3 times a day.
Well, did you learn how to cook
like, what about
Japan?
from like home? Like maybe your parents, aunts, uncles. I'm taking it there.
Okay, you know, I'll take it back to something I make. Bacon wrapped filet mignon.
Okay.
Oh, hey. All right.
You know, I've made it before, but like, you know, I think this last Valentine's Day was the first time like I made it for my girlfriend, and like she was just like, oh my gosh, wow. And like I probably had like the biggest hickey on my neck.
we did see that.
It was on my neck for like 2 weeks.
Valentine's Day was
mistake.
She like sucked the life out of it.
Valentine's Day was on a Thursday.
Yeah.
We had practice on a Monday. I'm like,
what happened?
Right
it was there for like a good minute, but like the steak was that good. Like I had like this apple cooked like, you know, bacon.
Yeah.
Wrapped it around perfectly, you know, seasoned it, you know, perfectly. Had the, you know, the garlic, you know, like the sliced garlic.
Yeah.
It was just like the perfect symphony of just everything. And like, like I'm not even a big red meat person, but like that's one thing like I really enjoy making.
Nice.
All right. So for me, I grew up Filipino. So everyone talks about adobo. And everyone knows adobo. And where my dad's from, we don't do the adobo like with a heavy gravy sauce. We do the dry adobo.
Okay.
And actually throw down with that one. But adobo gets a lot of shine, and adobo's great. But there's another dish, secondary and close to my heart, because I grew up with it. It's like my comfort food. It's like what I want growing up, even as a kid until to this day, is sinigang. And it's basically a soup broth. It's a pork brew. You can use pork, you can use beef, you can use seafood. But the way Chuck talks about soul food, the way that I believe sinigang and just a hot bowl of rice, with that hot piping broth with, you know, you have basically the ingredients are just vegetables, like, you know, your string beans, your onions, your tomatoes, gabe, which is basically taro, And then also you put like pork broth. And my mom never liked using the tamarind soup base because she's like, no, I don't use that. That's MSG. I got gout. I don't use that. And then so she uses calamansi, which is basically the citrus. It's like a little mini lemon that's indigenous to the Philippines.
Right.
And with that, she actually uses like real tamarind. She shaves it down. She mortars and pestles it. And she really makes the real tamarind soup base without the MSG. Like, she's like, look at my toe. I make this, look at my toe. You better fix this toe. Filipinos are like, we are not one for tact. We will tell you like this.
Man.
You know my mama. You know my mama. You know my dad.
Same train of thought, man.
And when it comes down to it, like, yeah, that pork sinigang. And then that's what I would throw down on a regular. Or I would actually mess around with it, not use pork. I would actually use like kalbi beef, like beef kalbi sinigang. Nice. And you don't have to do much with it. You don't marinate it. You just cook it with the broth, with the bone broth and everything.
Nice.
You know what? It's that connection. We're talking about how music can take you back to a certain time. Food is too. Mm-hmm. There's a playlist I created on my phone that started recently called Cocktail Shrimp. And I'll tell you why I call it Cocktail Shrimp. Growing up, my dad would barbecue, on Sundays, and my mom knew I liked Cocktail Shrimp. So they would hear like the Earth, Wind, like we're talking about earlier, Earth, Wind & Fire, Gap Band, those records on a Sunday, Rick James cameo, and I would have my Cocktail Shrimp while hearing these records. So I wanted to make a playlist from that era, and also certain records that I listened to, from my era that would associate. What would I play my kids? My Cocktail, Cocktail Shrimp, like these, like you don't know nothing about this. These are my oldies, shit like that, So connecting with food, like there's certain foods and certain music that puts me in a certain place where it's comforting. They say comfort food, and that is comfort food and comfort tunes.
Yeah, my parents love Earth, Wind & Fire. We actually played "Keep Your Head to the Sky" at my pop's funeral.
Oh wow!
Yes, we sent him home in style. Hey, you know what I mean?
So, can I share something about Earth, Wind & Fire?
Go for it.
So everyone always asks the origin story behind my name, Lord, and I don't know if I ever told you this, Jordan. So Earth, Wind & Fire plays a huge, significant part in my life because everyone always asks, like, what's the origin of your name, Lord? Like, it's to the point where it's like, is his name really Lord? Or is it just Anthony? Did he make that up? Did he add that as a title? I remember having to explain the shout out to Mike Rock. And Mike Rock had said, is your name really Lord? And I'm like, I had to literally pull out.
You like that?
Mike. It was at Hangouts. Like, it was bothering him. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, your brow is twitching. Like, it's like unappeasing right now.
Yo, I've had to jam people. I'm not calling him Lord. You're calling him Lord. It's his name.
Yeah, so
I'm calling him Anthony.
I had to pull out the ID and I said, here, my name is actually Lord. If you call me Anthony, it feels like I'm auditing your assets. So which one do you want to choose? Because I'm a paralegal by trade. That's what I do for a living. I work for a law firm. Anyways, long story short, the name Lord, the namesake. So when my mother was pregnant with me and she was giving birth, it took her 72 hours to literally put me out to the world. And unfortunately, the doctors had said that when they had reported to my mom and my dad, they had said, we don't know what we're going to do with your son. He might be pronounced dead. He's not responsive. And it's been already 72 hours. So technically I should have been born March 27th, but I was born March 30th, which is next week. And my mom was like, okay, because they're very ultra religious, good Filipino family, Catholic by default. So they decided like, we're going to pray on it and we're really going to decide the fate of our child. And so my mom and dad gathered in the corner and they prayed. And then my mom made a bargain with God. She's like, look, if you give my baby, this child life, I'm going to name him after you. So hence the name Lord for Jesus Christ. And then Anthony, St. Anthony Padua, because San Antonio de Padua, he's our family's patron saint. Still is because he's the patron saint of lost things. And at that time, my mom hit her lowest low because like, this is my firstborn child and I'm going to lose him and I don't want to lose him. And so they looked for a sign and they said, what's the one thing that, kind of like stimulates Lord? And my dad's like, I wonder if they have a radio here. Do they have a radio? Somebody pulls out a radio and they called the nurses, they called the doctors. And so they basically got a radio and they're like, do you got headphones or anything? He's like, no, we can only just tune it up as loud as you want, whatever helps, whatever works. So when they were turning on the radio and they're fine tuning the FM dial, because that's how the radios were back in the day, they weren't digital. So she gets to a station, and right when she hits, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's September. It's the beginning riff, like, and boom, bass line hits, succinct with a heartbeat. Me, and I'm ready to come out.
Yeah.
And that's the story. That's the namesake. If there's only a small number of people who know that story, now you guys know about
Now there will
it.
be millions.
Pretty, well, let's hope so. But I mean, that's the namesake. That's the origin story. Everyone asks, is like, is that really your name? That's how I got my name. And it was also through the song Earth, Wind, and Fire, September. That's why whenever that song plays at a wedding, I said, Chuck, you just got to give me a moment. Because it's that song that brought me back to life. That's the kind of thing. Crazy. And that's the kind of thing where it's like, when they really say music saved my life, of course, with outside forces as well, if you believe in a spiritual life as well, too. But that in a sense, like ever since then, my faith has always been strong, and I believe it's like, I was put in this world, to share the gift of, whatever talents he gave me.
Nice. So, that's dope. Thank you for sharing.
That's dope story. Yeah, thank you for sharing that one. I thought it was because it took 3 days. Oh, Lord.
Lord have mercy.
3 days.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, man.
What do you want to name this child? Lord? No.
Have mercy. Well, my cousin, funny part about it is his name's Caesar. And the reason why they say Caesar is because it's actually Caesarian. So, Caesarian in Tagalog it actually means that is Caesar. That's the translation, Caesarian, to the C-section.
It could have been Caesar or Lord. I think we're gonna Caesar is
Caesarian in Tagalog was like that is Caesar translated.
We will take Lord over Caesar. That's for sure.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Dope convo.
Thank you so much.
Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up. So before we go, where could they find y'all?
All right. So excuse me. Good grief.
Clear your throat, man. Clear your throat, man.
I got some cough drops.
Clear my throat. Okay. So first and foremost, our new album, The Black Odysseys, we talked about earlier, available on all streaming services. You can buy physical copies on honorflowproductions.com. I love digital's great, but the way the art is and the sound, I just prefer the physicals. Yep. But like I said, if you prefer digital, it's all out there on all platforms. honorflowproductions.com. Honor, like having Honor Flow, like going with the Flow Productions with an S.com. Instagram at Honor Flow Productions, and on Facebook and SoundCloud and Twitter, HFP Music. We had our music videos out, of course. YouTube.com /Honor Flow Productions. All right. And At the Speed of Light is out. Elevation video coming soon. Personally, for Instagram, at The Old Soul HFP. That's on Instagram and Twitter, at The Old Soul HFP.
Yes, as far as I go, ELIMN8 HFP for both Instagram and Twitter. I also have a video game streaming on Twitch, XXELIMN8 XX Eliminate. So yeah, check me out there.
Nice.
All social media handles already been mentioned. It's DJISLORD. DJ is Lord, not DJ Lord. DJ is Lord. DJ Lord is from Public Enemy. Shout out to DJ Lord. Mad respect to him, but it's DJISLORD at DJ is Lord.
Not DJ is Caesar. DJ is Lord.
or DJ is the Lord.
DJ.
Lord is the DJ.
There's been a lot of variations we've had.
Is the Lord.
We've had a lot of variations, and even with my name, and you've gotten even On the Floor Productions. On the Floor Productions is the popular.
Oh, man.
On the floor.
Let's not even go there.
On the Floor Productions.
How much time do you got?
But yeah, if you don't remember any of that, what we just said, honorflowproductions.com. All of our social media handles up there. All our music is up there. Everything about us. Come see us at a show. We got some exciting things that are about to come up.
Nice.
And we just want to thank you to everybody who supported us, man. This is such a grassroots operation, and being around 13 years plus now.
Nice.
And really, like, I feel like we're hitting our stride.
That's awesome.
And we have gotten better with time. And like I said, a lot of it has to do with the growing community of what you guys have provided for us, and allowed us to grow as artists and grow our sound and our message. And thank you for that.
The only way to go is up.
Yeah,
It's the only
damn
direction, y'all.
Thank you.
Damn
Well,
right.
thanks again for being on our show. We really appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
SoCal salutes.
We out.
Let's go eat.
I'm Chef Adam.
JMKM.
Let's eat.
Let's get
DJ
it.
Chuck, the old soul.
MC Eliminate.
DJ is Lord.
We out. Peace.
Peace.
SoCal salutes. Peace.